All praises to the Most High. So tonight's topic is called the fear of water. The fear of water. You might be wondering, what kind of a topic is that? Pay close attention, take notes, take notes. Okay, let's open up with the book of Exodus chapter 8 verse 16. Exodus chapter 8 verse 18. Verse 16. Again, tonight's topic is called the fear of water. The fear of water. Exodus 8 verse 16. Let's start there.
Exodus chapter 8 verse 16.
Come on.
And the Lord said unto Moses, say unto Aaron, stretch out thy rod and smite the dust of the land, that it may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt.
So now this is one of the plagues. This is the third plague that was brought upon the Egyptians. Lice. You understand? The Most High God brought forth lice to destroy and plague the Egyptians. Okay, to show us that whatever goddess they worship, whatever god they worship, which is Beelzebub, you understand, is no God at all. That's what the Lord was trying to show us. Go ahead.
And they did so. For Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod and smote the dust of the earth, and it became lice in man and in beast. All the dust of the land became lice throughout all the land of Egypt.
So now the Most High God, he used Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod and smote the dust of the earth, and it became lice in man and in beast. It says all the dust of the land became lice throughout all the land of Egypt. From dust, the Most High God created lice. Okay, come on.
And the magicians did so with their enchantments to bring forth lice, but they could not.
Come on.
So there were lice upon man and upon beast.
So now the magicians, which is today will be called the Sangomas or the scientists, they could not what? They could not bring forth life. You understand? So it says there was life upon man and upon beast. So let's see what is life. Okay, let's see what it looks like. You know what? Keep reading. Jump down to verse 20. Read verse 20. We're going to deal with the third and the fourth plague. Let's get to the fourth plague. I'm going to come back to dealing with life because that's really where I want to focus on. Read verse 20 now.
Exodus chapter 8 verse 20.
Come on.
And the Lord said unto Moses, rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh. Lo, he cometh forth to the water. And say unto him, thus saith the Lord, let my people go, that they may serve me.
Let my people go, that they may serve me. The Most High God is about to what? Is about to launch another attack, another plague. Okay, come on.
Else, if thou wilt not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies upon thee, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thy houses. And the houses of the Egyptians shall be full of swarms of flies, and also the ground whereon they are.
So now the Lord is saying, listen, I'm going to deploy a swarm of flies upon all the land of Egypt. You understand? The Most High God created new flies especially for the Egyptians to destroy them. Because one of the gods that they worship was what? Fly, Lord of the Flies. Another, Beelzebub. Okay, the Lord of uncleanness. Lice is also God of uncleanness. You understand? Flies, God of uncleanness. Read on.
And I will sever that day the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, to the end thou mayest know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth.
Because remember, we were in Goshen. The Most High God is saying, right? Read that verse again. Read it, right? Verse 22 again.
Exodus chapter 8, verse 22. And I will sever in that day the land of Goshen.
You see what the Lord is saying? He says, he will sever in that day the land of Goshen. Remember, we're in the land of Goshen. How did we get there? Because of Joseph, our forefather. You understand? That's how we ended up staying in the land of Goshen. So when the Most High God was plaguing the Egyptians, where our forefathers, we were in the land of Goshen, the plagues did not affect us. Neither did it affect us, or not only that, it didn't affect our cows and our beasts as well. You understand? But on the side of the Egyptians, the Most High God was jaking them up. Okay, come on.
In which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there.
Go ahead.
To the end thou mayest know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth.
Read.
and I will put a division between my people and thy people. Tomorrow shall this sign be.
Jesus, tomorrow shall this sign be. The Lord says, I'm going to sever the Egyptians from, I'm going to sever the children of Israel from the Egyptians. You understand? There's going to be a clear distinction who the Lord is plaguing and who the Lord is dealing with. Read.
And the Lord did so. And there came a grievous swarm of flies into the house of Pharaoh, and into his servants' houses, and into all the land of Egypt. The land was corrupted by reason of the swarm of flies.
So the Most High God corrupted the land by a swarm of flies. Watch this. Let's see what type of flies were these and what did they do when they plagued the Egyptians. Give me that in Wisdom of Solomon, in the Apocrypha. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16, verse 9. Watch this. This is the type of flies that the Lord launched upon the Egyptians. And when he did that, this is what he did, this is what they did to them. Start at verse 8. Wisdom of Solomon 16, verse 8. We're going to read to verse 9. Come on.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16, verse 8. And in this thou madest thine enemies confess that it is thou who deliverest from all evil.
Because our enemies confess that, listen, there's a God in Israel. Which God is that? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of our forefathers. Read.
For them the bitings of grasshoppers and flies killed.
You see that thing? So the type of flies that the Lord launched upon the Egyptians were biting them and they were killing them. What type of fly can kill you? That's the type of flies that the Lord used to destroy the Egyptians. It says what? Read that part again.
For them the bitings of grasshoppers and flies killed.
So grasshoppers were biting them and flies were biting them and they were killing them. Read.
Neither was there found any remedy for their life.
Meaning what? They could not be cured. Remember, the magicians could not do nothing. The magician could not replicate lies, nor bring forth flies. Go ahead.
For they were worthy to be punished by such.
They were worthy to be punished by such creatures that the Lord created just for them, for their destruction. Okay? Now let's go back now. Let's go back to Exodus chapter 8. Read verse 16 again. I'm going to deal with the lies. Okay? I'm going to launch into that. Read that. Read that again.
Exodus chapter 8, verse 16.
Read.
And the Lord said unto Moses, say unto Aaron, stretch out thy rod, and smite the dust of the land, that it may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt. And they did so. For Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod, and smote the dust of the earth, and it became lice in man and in beast.
Come on.
All the dust of the land became lice throughout all the land of Egypt. And the magicians did so with their enchantments to bring forth lice, but they could not. So there were lice upon man and upon beast.
So there were lice upon man and upon beast. So the Most High was jaking the Egyptians. Now let's see what lice looks like. Okay, watch this. Let's go to Google. I'm gonna share my screen so you can see what lice looks like. Okay, watch this. Now look at that. This right here, this is lice. Okay, this creature that you see here, this insect, this is head lice. This is the one that plagues your hair, your dandruff and all that. That's lice right there. Okay, this is body lice. The one that makes your body to itch and all that is because there's lice. You've got body lice. You understand? Yes. Then you've got another one, which is pubic lice. So now what you're looking at here is lice. You see, this is the insect that the Lord used to plague the Egyptians. You understand? You've got head lice, body lice, and pubic lice. The pubic lice is the one that for the sisters, it sits between your legs, your vagina, you understand that? For the men, it sits between your legs, your rod and all that. You find yourself itching between your legs and all that. It's because you might be having pubic lice. Okay? So the Most High God made sure that he deploys all of this on men and on beasts. All of them, they were having head, body, and pubic lice. That's what the Lord did. Read that again, verse 18. Exodus chapter 8, verse 18.
Exodus chapter 8, verse 18.
Read.
And the magicians did so with their enchantments to bring forth lice, but they could not. So there were lice upon men and upon beast.
There were lies upon men and upon beasts. There were lies upon men and upon beasts. Now, I'm going to deal with that because remember, this is what the Lord brought upon the Egyptians, right? Okay, so we were in Egypt, and guess what? We left, you understand, when the Mosai launched, after the Mosai launched the final attack on the Egyptians, that's when we left. You understand? On the night of the Passover, that's when we left. Get that in Exodus 12. Exodus 12, read verse 29. Watch this. Read verse 11. Exodus 12, verse 11, then we're going to jump down.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 11.
Read.
And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover.
It is the Lord's Passover. So this Passover right here, this particular Passover, we ate it in haste. You understand? Because we were what? We were being rushed out of Egypt. The Most High God was delivering us out of the land of Egypt, the land of Pharaoh. So that's why it says you must eat it in haste. Because we was what? We was on the run. You understand? We're about to get delivered. That's why this particular Passover, we ate it in haste. Okay? Jump down to verse 14.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 14.
You know what? Read 13 and 14 together. Come on.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 13. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. So
the plague did not touch us because we're in the land of Goshen. Not only that, but the blood that we strike the blood on the side on the doorpost. You understand? The blood of lambs. The Most High God commanded us to slaughter lambs, get the blood and strike it on the two side posts of our doors, so that when the death angel passes over, then guess what? None of our houses were smitten by what? By the plagues. Okay? Read.
And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever.
He says, you shall keep it for a feast by an ordinance forever. That's why tonight is the last day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, because it's a 7-day celebration. Not only that, it is a Sabbath. No buying, not selling, but you can cook on this day because it is a feast. Okay? It's not the 7th-day Sabbath. You can cook, but you cannot buy and sell. Okay? No working. Read on.
7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses.
Stop right there. So it says 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. The first day you shall put what? It says even the first day you shall put away leaven out of your houses. That's why in all our houses we don't have anything. We don't have anything that is got leaven in it that you can eat. Meaning what? Bread. If you have bread in your house, it must be bread that does not have yeast in it. Okay? Crumbs and all that. But you can, the only bread that you must have in your house is the unleavened bread, bread that is without yeast. Anything that is got yeast, it must not be in your house. Okay? For the 7 days that we were on the Feast of Unleavened Bread, that must not be in your houses. Go ahead.
For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
That is, that soul shall be cut off from Israel, meaning what? The Most High God says he will put you to death. He will destroy you. So I know some of you are new. You have never observed the Feast of Unleavened Bread before, but this is a school you are here to learn. Okay, come on.
And in the first day, there shall be an holy convocation. And in the 7th day, there shall be an holy convocation to you.
So the first day of the Feast of the Passover is the Sabbath. The last day also, which is tonight, is that will also be one a Sabbath. Read.
No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you.
Go ahead.
And ye shall observe the Feast of Unleavened Bread.
Ye shall observe the Feast of Unleavened. Hold on. Ye shall observe the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is what we're doing right now. Come on.
For in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever.
You see that thing? That's why every year we observe the Feast of the Passover, because it is a law. That says the Lord. The Most High God commanded us to observe the Passover or the Feast of Unleavened Bread, not Easter. Easter is of the devil. We don't celebrate that. Okay. Now jump down to verse 29.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne, unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle.
Mm-hmm.
And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead.
You see that thing? Because the Most High God is smote all the firstborns of the Egyptians. Whether you were 50 years old, 60 years old, or 8 years old, if you were the firstborn in your house, you were put to death in that night. You understand? So that was a great cry in Egypt, because all the firstborns were put to death by the Most High God. That's the God we serve. The God we serve is the one that put nations to death for our sakes, for us to get delivered. That is the God we serve, the God of Israel. You understand? Now, the reason why I'm going over this is so I can show you that on this night at midnight, we left Egypt. You understand? After midnight, because midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn. That's when we left. Okay? So now, we came out of Egypt. Okay? Give me Leviticus 18 verse 1. When we came out of Egypt, the Most High God used Moses to teach us the law. Watch this. Because in Egypt, what was we doing? We were worshiping their God. We were following their customs, because Egypt was the most powerful kingdom on earth during that time. So Egypt was like America today, which is the most powerful nation on earth, which is the United States today. Back then, it was Egypt. Egypt was just like America it is this day. Okay? Leviticus 18 verse 1. Watch this.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 1.
Read.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Lord your God.
Mm-hmm.
After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt.
Before you do that, remember at this point, we are in the wilderness. Okay? Hold this. Give me the book of Numbers. Okay? Give me the book of Numbers, chapter 3, verse 1. Numbers 3, read verse 1 for me.
Numbers chapter 3, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
These also are the generations of Aaron and Moses in the day that the Lord spake with Moses in Mount Sinai.
You see that thing? The Most High God spoke with Moses and Aaron in Mount Sinai. We was in the wilderness at that time. We were in the wilderness. Okay? So the Most High God is speaking to Moses and Aaron to speak to us. Give me Numbers 1 and 1.
Numbers chapter 1, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai.
See, it says, the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai. We were in the wilderness at this time. Go ahead.
In the tabernacle of the congregation, on the first day of the second month, in the second year, after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying.
So now we are in the wilderness, okay, in Mount Sinai. The Lord is using Moses and Aaron to relate the message to us of what we need to do and how we must conduct ourselves, no longer following the customs of the Egyptians. No more. Okay? Go back to Leviticus now. Okay? Leviticus, come on.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do. Neither shall ye walk in their ordinances.
Mm-hmm.
Ye shall do my judgments and keep mine ordinances, to walk therein. I am the Lord your God.
So the Lord is saying, listen, the garbage that you was doing in Egypt, all the gods that you was worshiping, the idols, following their customs, being unclean, because we was unclean in Egypt. We didn't even dress the right way. Of course, the men, we wore dresses in Egypt. You understand? We dressed like them. That's why now the Lord is saying, listen, you are no longer going to look like the Egyptians, neither will you dress like them, neither will you follow the customs that you used to follow when you were in Egypt as slaves. So now he's saying what? Read verse 4 again.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
Ye shall do my judgments and keep mine ordinances, to walk therein. I am the Lord your God.
Come on.
Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord.
So it says, when we keep his statutes and his judgments, it says, if a man do his statutes and his judgments, it says, he shall live in them. So we're supposed to live. What brings us life? The laws of God. That's what it's telling you right there. Proverbs 7 verse 2. It says, keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. The Lord is telling us that there's life in keeping his laws, statutes, and his commandments. You understand? That's what he's saying right there. Watch this. Because the Most High God, guess what? When we're in Egypt, we worship those idols, the idols of uncleanness and all of that. We was doing all of that. We didn't see nothing wrong with it. Guess what? Now in captivity, we seem to be doing the same stuff. We have forgotten, because the Most High God, he taught us how to dress. You understand? He taught us how to eat and what to eat. Guess what? Not only that, he taught us how to deal with personal hygiene. He taught us that. The Most High God taught us how to deal with personal hygiene. So today we're going to deal with that. Watch this. Give me 2 Chronicles, okay, chapter 4, verse 1. 2 Chronicles, chapter 4, read verse 1.
2 Chronicles, chapter 4, verse 1. Moreover, he made an altar of brass, 20 cubits the length thereof, and 20 cubits the breadth thereof, and 10 cubits the height thereof. So
the altar of brass, this altar of brass, guess what? That's the altar of brass. Now watch the next part here, because here King Solomon is building the temple, okay? So now there's ordinances that are required for the temple. Watch the next verse. Go ahead.
Also, he made a molten sea of 10 cubits from brim to brim, round in compass.
He did what now?
Also, he made a molten sea of 10 cubits.
He made a molten sea. I'm going to show you what this molten sea is and what it was used for. So I want you to focus on verse 2 down. Verse 1, he was creating the altar of brass. Verse 2 down, we're going to go into the molten sea that King Solomon made. Okay, read verse 2 again.
2 Chronicles chapter 4, verse 2. Also, he made a molten sea of 10 cubits from brim to brim, round in compass, and 5 cubits the height thereof, and a line of 30 cubits did compass it round about.
So now he's giving the measurement, you understand, the dimensions of this molten sea. It was in circular shape, you understand? Go ahead.
And under it was the similitude of oxen, which did compass it round about, 10 in a cubit, compassing the sea round about. 2 rows of oxen were cast when it was cast.
Read.
It stood upon 12 oxen, 3 looking toward the north, and 3 looking toward the west, and 3 looking toward the south, and 3 looking toward the east.
Read.
And the sea was set above upon them, and all their hinder parts were inward.
So now he's telling you, say, listen, this molten sea was sitting upon 12 oxen, each facing north, south, west, and east. You understand? 3 sets. Okay, come on.
And the thickness of it was an handbreadth, and the brim of it like the work of the brim of a cup, with flowers of lilies, and it received and held 3,000 baths. You see that thing, the amount of water that it carried. The amount of water that it carried is as what? It says, and it received and held 3,000 baths. Go ahead. He made also 10 lavers, and put 5 on the right hand and 5 on the left, to wash in them. To do what? To wash in them. So these lavers were there for washing and so forth. Watch this, go ahead. Such things as they offered for the burnt offering, they washed in them. So whenever after they did the burnt offerings, talk about the priests, the men, after they did the offerings, you understand, of the temple and all that, this is where they would come to wash themselves. Right? But the sea was for the priests to wash in. But the sea was for the priests to wash in. The sea was made specifically for the high priest. Go ahead. That's it on that. That's it on that. Watch this. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay. So the Most High God, he taught us how to wash. Today we have forgotten that custom. We think it's normal if you don't wash your behind. Okay, it's not normal. Now watch this. This right here is what we just read. You see the oxen?
3, 3, and on the other side, it says this right here, it contains 3,000 baths. So out of the mouth of these cows, water came out and it came into this. You see there's water right there? That's where, you see, that's the pit right there. That's where they would come to wash themselves. You understand? So after they perform the office of the priesthood when they did the sacrifices and so forth. This is what it's talking about. Okay. You brothers and sisters, you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all praises to the Most High. All praises. Now, watch this. Give me the book of Numbers, chapter 19, verse 1. The Most High God, He taught us how to sanctify ourselves, how to keep ourselves clean and all that, how to wash ourselves. Unlike when we were in Egypt, we were not doing that. We were just smelly in Egypt, doing all kinds of evil. You understand? Women were smelly. Men were smelly as well. You understand? That's why the Lord said, listen, I have to teach you again. Okay? Read that. Numbers chapter 19, verse 1. Read that.
Numbers chapter 19, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying,
Read.
This is the ordinance of the law which the Lord hath commanded, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring thee a red heifer without spot, wherein is no blemish, and upon which never came yoke.
So now it's talking about, it says, get a red heifer. Okay. So this is an animal that is going to be used for sacrifices. This is a female one. Go ahead.
And he shall give her unto Eleazar the priest, that he may bring her forth without the camp, and one shall slay her before his face.
Meaning the one that has not given birth yet. That's why it says, which never came yoke. Read.
And Eleazar the priest shall take of her blood with his finger, and sprinkle of her blood directly before the tabernacle of the congregation 7 times.
Remember, Eleazar is one of the priests. Okay, come on.
And one shall burn the heifer in his sight, her skin and her flesh, and her blood with her dung shall he burn.
So now they are performing the sacrifice. These are burnt offerings right here. These are remember, Eleazar is one of the sons of Aaron. Okay, come on.
And the priest shall take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet, and cast it into the midst of the burning of the heifer.
Meaning the burning of the heifer, meaning the altar of burnt offerings. This is when they were performing burnt offerings. Come on.
Then the priest shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in water.
After he done all these burnt offerings, what will the priest do? Read verse 7 again.
Numbers chapter 19, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Then the priest shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in water. And afterwards he shall come into the camp.
Mm-hmm.
And the priest shall be unclean until the even.
You see that part right there? There it says the priest shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in water, meaning his body, head to toe, he will bathe himself. Okay? It says, then after that, he shall come into the camp. Some of you come into the camp, your balls are smelling. That's some nasty stuff. The Bible is letting us know that, because you might be saying, no, but this was only for the priest. I got something for you. Don't worry about that thing. Read verse 7 again.
Numbers chapter 19, verse 7.
Go ahead.
Then the priest shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in water.
Mm-hmm.
And afterward he shall come into the camp, and the priest shall be unclean until the even.
Read.
And he that burneth her shall wash his clothes in water, and bathe in his flesh in water, and shall be unclean until the even.
You see that thing? When the evening comes, he's going to be clean. So the Lord is letting you know, he says what? He says he shall wash his clothes in water, bathe his flesh in water, and shall be unclean until the evening. So the Most High God, he outlines detailed instructions on how to keep ourselves clean, how to be hygiene, to understand the process of being hygiene and all that. The Most High God, when we came out of Egypt, he says, I have to teach you again, because right now, you don't look like my children. Okay? Go ahead. Verse 9.
And a man that is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer, and lay them up without the camp in a clean place. And it shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for a water of separation. It is a purification for sin.
It is a what now?
It is a purification for sin.
understand, when you don't, when you are not hygiene, when you be smelly and all that, the Most High God, you are in the midst of sin. That goes for both men and women. Brothers be having smelly balls and all that. Sisters be having smelly coochies and all that. You are in the midst of sin. That's why the Most High God left this instruction for us, these laws, statutes, and commandments for us to do what? For us to be clean. That's the law. Because when you are not, you are worshiping Beelzebub. You understand? The god of uncleanness, flies and lice. You understand? So the Most High God is teaching us that how not to worship those other gods. Because when you not bathe yourself regularly, you worship those other gods, those gods of Egypt. Understand that? Okay? Jump down to verse 11.
Numbers chapter 19, verse 11. He that touches the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days.
So now he's giving you different scenarios of when you find yourself unclean. The first time when we read it, we're going into what? When you're dealing with the sacrifices, the burnt offerings, because they had to deal with blood, the guts of the animal, they had to burn it and all that. After they are done, then the Lord said, okay, you need to wash yourself in water, make yourself clean, wash your clothes and all that, so you can be clean. Now he's giving another scenario. If you touch a dead body, here's what you must do. Read.
He shall purify himself with it on the 3rd day. And on the 7th day, he shall be clean.
Read.
But if he purify not himself the 3rd day, then the 7th day he shall not be clean.
So on the 3rd day, you must purify yourself, so that on the 7th day, you must be unclean. So from it says, he shall purify himself with it on the 3rd day. That goes into the water. And on the 7th day, he shall be clean. But if he purify not himself on the 3rd day, then the 7th day, he shall not be clean. He is not saying on the 1st day, you're not washing yourself. Okay, go ahead.
Whosoever touches the dead body of any man that is dead, and purifies not himself, he defileth the tabernacle of the Lord. And that soul shall be cut off from Israel. Because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him, he shall be unclean. His uncleanness is yet upon him.
You see that thing? Because there was water of separation that needed to be sprinkled upon you so you can be clean. Read.
This is the law. When a man dieth in a tent, all that come into the tent and all that is in the tent shall be unclean 7 days.
That's why you notice when we go to funerals, right? When we come from the cemetery, before you enter into that person's house where there's a funeral, at the gate, there's somebody that is got like a bucket of water or something, and people be washing themselves. This is all coming from the scriptures, okay? We get it from the scriptures. We still have some of those customs, but the majority of the customs, we have forgotten them, okay? Jump down to verse 16.
Numbers chapter 19, verse 16.
Read.
And whosoever toucheth one that is slain with a sword in the open fields, or a dead body, or a bone of a man, or a grave, shall be unclean 7 days.
You see that thing? It says you touch the body of one that was killed with a sword in an open field, or a dead body, or the bone of a man, or the grave. It says you shall be unclean 7 days. Wait.
And for an unclean person, they shall take off the ashes of the burnt heifer of purification for sin, and running water shall be put thereto in a vessel.
You see that thing? So now this is what we did. Washing ourselves and all that. The Most High God is teaching us personal hygiene. Okay, go ahead.
And a clean person shall take hyssop and dip it in the water and sprinkle it upon the tent and upon all the vessels and upon the persons that were there and upon him that touched the bone, or one slain, or one dead, or a grave.
That's why a lot of the times when we come from funerals, that's why they will find somebody that is responsible for the people to wash their hands before they enter in, coming from the cemetery. They get it from here. Read on.
And the clean person shall sprinkle upon the unclean on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day. And on the 7th day he shall purify himself, and wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and shall be clean at even.
Read.
But the man that shall be unclean and shall not purify himself, that soul shall be cut off from among the congregation. because he has defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. The water of separation has not been sprinkled upon him. He is unclean.
So now the Most High God is telling us, listen, you must wash yourself. That's the point I'm trying to show you. The Lord is teaching us how to keep ourselves clean, how to maintain a good hygiene habit. Okay, go ahead.
And it shall be a perpetual statute unto them, that he that sprinkled the water of separation shall wash his clothes, and he that toucheth the water of separation shall be unclean until even.
You see that thing? So now this is basically also, by the way, this was part of the old covenant of animal sacrifice. But what I'm showing you is the Most High God always taught us how to wash ourselves, how to maintain a good personal hygiene. You understand? Watch this. Give me Leviticus 15 verse 1. Leviticus chapter 15 verse 1. Remember, this went into the priest, and also not only that, but this went into brothers and sisters that encountered these issues. You touch a dead body and so forth. You touch somebody that was killed with a sword in the open field, or you find a dead body or bone of a man and so forth. The instruction was that the priest will make sure that you are clean, so that what? So that the uncleanness of that dead body that you touched, you came in contact with, is washed away from you. You understand? Leviticus now, 15 verse 1.
Leviticus chapter 15 verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when any man hath a running issue out of his flesh, because of his issue he is unclean.
So now this right here is talking about, let's say you're having diarrhea, you're having a runny stomach. The Lord is saying you are unclean when you're having a runny stomach. Go ahead.
And this shall be his uncleanness in his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue, or his flesh be stopped from his issue. It is his uncleanness.
It is his uncleanness, meaning what? You're having diarrhea, whatever the case may be, however it might have been, it might have happened to you. You understand? The Most High God says you are unclean. Okay, come on. He's going to tell you what you must do. Read.
Every bed whereon he lieth that hath the issue is unclean, and everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean.
So it says what? Your clothes also and all of that, they are going to be unclean if you don't keep a good hygiene. That's what the Lord is. Basically, what the Lord is saying is that he's saying you must what? Maintain a good hygiene. That's what he's saying. Okay, go ahead.
And whosoever toucheth his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even.
Read.
And he that sitteth on anything whereon he sat that hath the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even.
So now he's talking about like wherever it is that you touch, that thing will be unclean. But this also obviously is not talking about the fact that because that means everything is going to be unclean, whatever it is that you do. This was basically pertaining if you have to go to the temple. The temple is no longer standing right now. You understand? We are the temple. So the Lord is saying, keep your temple clean. Meaning what? Maintain a good hygiene practice. You understand? A good habit when it comes to your hygiene. Read.
And he that toucheth the flesh of him that hath the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even.
So now, because this was part of the law of animal sacrifice, but guess what? Pertaining to you going to the temple. But the temple is no longer standing. So does it mean that when you having diarrhea and all that, you're not supposed to wash your behind? No, you must wash your behind, both men and women. Okay. So the Most High God is giving you instances of the scenarios of when you are unclean and what you need to do in order for you to do what? To be clean. Now jump down to verse 16 now. Watch this.
Leviticus chapter 15 verse 16. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until the even.
So now this goes into sex, sexual intercourse. It says you're having sex with your wife and all that, or with your husband. It says, if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until the evening. Go ahead.
And every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the even.
Read verse 17 again. Verse 16 goes into You have sex with your wife, you must bathe your behind after that, both men and women. But read verse 17 again. Watch this.
Leviticus chapter 15, verse 17.
Come on.
And every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the even.
This goes into both men and women, sisters that have dildos and cucumbers and all that, which you must stop doing that. You must stop pleasuring yourself because it's against the law. That's fornication. The Most High God says you do that, all the stuff that's coming out, guess what? You must wash your behind. Okay? Both the men also. Brothers that are choking the chicken, masturbating, watching porn, nasty stuff. The Most High God says you must wash yourself with water and be unclean. And you shall be unclean until the evening. When the evening comes, you're going to be clean again. Go ahead.
The woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation.
Now this goes for the woman. Is that the woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation? Okay, this goes for the woman, that you have sex with your husband and so forth. Read.
Leviticus chapter 15, verse 18.
Read.
The woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the even.
So the both of you, the Most High God says you must wash yourselves. You understand? After you have sexual intercourse, the Most High God says you must bath yourself. You must bathe. These are things that we have not learned as a nation. The Most High God says, there's part of your repentance. Guess what? This is the thing that we must start to practice. These laws. We must apply these laws to our lives, because when we don't, we're worshiping Beelzebub, the Lord of uncleanness, Lord of the flies, Lord of death, Lord of stink. The Most High God that we mustn't do that. We are his children. We must keep our temple clean. Okay? Jump down to verse 19 now. This 16 through 18 goes into sexual intercourse for both men and women. 19 goes into sisters on their menstrual cycles. Read verse 19.
Leviticus chapter 15, verse 19.
Come on.
And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood,
that's the menstrual cycle. Read.
She shall be put apart 7 days.
So for 7 days, you are going to be unclean as a sister. Read.
And whosoever touches her shall be unclean until the even.
The touching is going to tell you what it means by that. Read on.
And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean.
Read.
And whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even.
So now here's the thing. You sisters that are, when you are on your menstrual cycle, many sisters, they don't know how to be hygiene. They wash once a day, which is nasty. You must wash 3 times a day at least. You understand? Because you know you're on a menstrual cycle, there's many things, there's dead coming out and all that. You must maintain a good hygiene. 3 times a day you must do stuff like that. You understand? Make sure that your coochie is clean and all that. Yet the Most High God is telling you what you must do. Wash yourself, bathe yourself in water and all that. Okay, come on.
And whosoever toucheth anything that she set upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even.
So you must make sure that you maintain a good hygiene, especially when you're on your menstrual cycle. On a normal circumstance, twice a day. Menstrual cycle, 3 times a day. Read verse 24.
Leviticus chapter 15, verse 24.
Mm-hmm.
And if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him.
If any man lie with her at all. You see that part right there when it says at all? At all. That part right there. At all. It says, if any man lie with this woman that is on a menstrual cycle at all, that goes into what? That goes into whether if your sister is on a menstrual cycle, because remember you are unclean for 7 days. So if the blood stops on the 3rd or 2nd day or the 5th day, you are still unclean. Your 7 days are not over. The Most High God says, if any man lie with her at all, that goes into oral sex. You understand? Using your hands and all that. That's still sexual intercourse. That's why here it says at all. Okay, go ahead.
And if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him.
Meaning the menstrual cycles be upon you. So the Lord is saying, on her menstrual, you men, you must not be dealing with your wife like that. Go ahead.
He shall be unclean 7 days,
Mm-hmm.
and all the bed whereon he lieth shall be unclean.
So now you as the man, you deal with the sister on her menstrual, you also are going to be unclean for 7 days. You understand? So now, but here's another thing. When you sisters, you're on your menstrual, okay, you cannot be dealing with a man at all, period. Because guess what? Your vagina must get a break. That's why the Most High God is not only that, not only is it the time where you, for 7 days that you is the time when you are unclean, you must learn your lesson for disobeying your husband and so forth, hence the menstrual cramps. But it's not just for that, but it's also to give your vagina a break for 7 days. You understand? So that it does not, nobody deals with it. Okay, wait.
And if a woman have an issue of her blood many days out of the time of a separation,
Meaning what? You've got your menstrual cycle, then lasts for more than 7 days. What does the Most High God says? Read.
or if it run beyond the time of a separation, all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as the days of a separation. She shall be unclean.
Meaning what? If you go beyond 7 days, that means the next 7 days you have to go another 7 days for you to be purified and be clean. You understand? So that's what the Lord is saying. So the Most High God is teaching you that you must bathe, you must bath, keep a good personal hygiene. This is for both men and women. Read verse 31, because all of this goes into when you're about to go into the temple. You couldn't go like that into the temple when you are nasty and unclean. But watch this. Read verse 31, because this is the whole point of this chapter. Wait.
Leviticus chapter 15, verse 31. Thus shall ye separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness.
You see, we start what?
Thus shall ye separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness.
You shall separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness. The Lord is telling you that we must be separated from our uncleanness. Okay, go ahead.
That they die not in their uncleanness.
The Lord says, don't die in your uncleanness. Wait.
When they defile my tabernacle, that is among them.
That's when the tabernacle was standing. That's when the temple was standing. But today the temple is not standing. We are the temple. You understand? Give me that in 1 Corinthians 3:16 real quick. The temple is no longer, the temple of Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 AD. So therefore, the temple is no longer standing. Guess who's the temple now? We the temple. Watch this. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Read that.
1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you?
We are the temple of God. The Spirit of God dwelleth in us. The laws of God dwell in us. That's what the Spirit is. Hold that. Get that in John 6:63 real quick. So we know what is the Spirit that dwelleth in us. When you repent, when you don't repent, keep God's commandment, you still wearing pants as a sister, the Spirit of the Lord is not in you yet. Okay? Read that. John 6, verse 63. Come on.
John chapter 6, verse 63.
Read.
It is the Spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life.
So the words that Christ spoke unto us, they are spirit and they are life. So the Spirit is the word of God, which is God's laws. So go back to 1 Corinthians 3, verse 16 again.
1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you?
The laws of God dwell in you. Come on.
If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy.
So now, because our bodies is the temple now, you defile your temple, the Lord says, I'm going to destroy you. So meaning what? As an example, you don't wash your behind, you smelly, you've got smelly balls, you understand, your coochie smelly. The Most High God says, I'm going to destroy you because you're not keeping the temple clean. Your temple is not sanctified. Your body is unclean. Okay, go ahead.
For the temple of God is holy.
The temple of God is holy. It must be holy and sanctified with the laws of God, right?
Which temple ye are.
Which temple you are. So we are the temple now, because the temple is no longer standing. Give me that in 1 Corinthians 6, verse 9. 6, verse 19. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, read verse 19. Because our bodies don't belong to us. Our bodies belong to Jesus the Christ, the one who died for us. Okay, read that. 1 Corinthians 6, verse 19. Read.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19.
Mm-hmm.
What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you,
Mm-hmm.
which ye have of God, and ye are not your own?
You see that thing? And you are not your own. It says your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost is the laws of God. The Holy Ghost is God's commandment. Okay? It says, which is in you, which ye have of God, and you are not your own. Your body don't belong to you. Go ahead.
For ye are bought with a price.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, glorify God in your body
In
and
your what?
in your spirit. Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's.
You see what the Bible is saying? It says, ye are bought with the price. The price that we were bought with is what? The blood of Christ. That's the price. It says, therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. So your spirit and your mind, your body and your spirit must work together. Your spirit, which is your mind, must what? You must keep God's commandments, and God's laws will teach you to what? To maintain purification in your body. You must keep that law of what? Of being hygiene. That's the law. That's the commandment, by the way. You understand? And one thing I've seen is that our brothers, many of brothers, they don't know how to be hygiene. And the sisters also, they don't know how to be hygiene. That's why you see sisters walk into the taxi, you smell Lucky Star, you smell tuna. That's an example of sisters don't know how to be clean. They don't know how to wash themselves. Many of them don't wash themselves. They don't change their underwear. You understand? So just some nastiness going on in our community. So young girls also, they don't know how to do it because the older ones don't know how to do it. It's the same thing. Young men also, they don't know how to do it because older men don't know how to do it. So both men and women, the Most High God says, you better make sure that you maintain personal hygiene, okay? Because that's the laws of God. Understand that? Especially the sisters. Oh my God. Now, watch this. Give me, you know what? No. Give me 2 Corinthians 5. Give me 2 Corinthians chapter 5, okay? 2 Corinthians chapter 5, read verse 14. Because our bodies don't belong to us, they belong to the Father. Watch this.
2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 14.
Read.
For the love of Christ constraineth us, because we thus judge.
We use the laws of God to judge matters. So there's no such thing, or don't judge me. That's not in the Bible. The Bible is a book of judgment. That's why in the Bible you've got the book of Judges. That's why in the Bible you've got the book called the book of Judges. Because judges were judging Israel with the laws of God. That's the same thing we're doing this day. Okay, read that again, verse 14.
2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 14.
Read.
For the love of Christ constraineth us, because we thus judge.
Come on.
That if one died for all, then we're all dead.
He says, one died for all. The all men that Christ died for is the 12 tribes of Israel. Read.
And that he died for all, that they which live should not henceforth live unto themselves, but unto him which died for them and rose again.
You see that thing? Now that because Christ died, so we can get the chance to get the kingdom, it says we should no longer live unto ourselves, but unto him which died for us and rose again the third day. So guess what? Now that Christ died for us, we can no longer do the evil that we used to do. We don't have a right to do that. You understand? There's no such thing, oh, no, this is my body. And sisters, I'm comfortable in pants and all that. That's not your body, sister. Brothers, they don't want to grow their beard. He says, no, but I like it when I don't have a beard. That's not your body, brother. That belongs to the Lord. And you were bought with a price. Christ died. You understand? He died for us. So guess what? We must present our bodies a living sacrifice. How do we do that? We no longer live unto ourselves, but we live unto him. How? We keep the commandments of the Lord. Whatever the Bible says, we do it. Okay, go ahead.
Wherefore, henceforth know we no man after the flesh.
So now it says, because of that, because of verse 15, it says, now we must know the man that you used to know after the flesh, meaning what? You used to fulfill the lust of your flesh. He says, no more, you must not do that, no more. Okay, come on.
Yea, though we have known Christ after the flesh, Yet now henceforth know we him no more.
We no longer know him after the flesh. We know him in spirit now, meaning we keep the commandments. We keep his law, his statutes, and his commandments as it is written. You understand? Give me that in Romans 12. You understand? The only way we keep our temple purified and all that, to keep your temple to be purified and clean, this is how we do it. Romans 12. Romans chapter 12, read verse 1. Okay, come on.
Romans chapter 12, verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice.
That you must do what?
That ye present your bodies a living sacrifice.
You must present your body a living sacrifice. So, because remember, Christ died and rose again. Now, our job is to present our body a living sacrifice. So that sacrifice, that sacrifice is us now. We are that sacrifice. We are that living sacrifice that we must present it to the Lord. How must we present our bodies to the Lord? Read.
Holy.
Acceptable. Hold on. It must be holy. We must present our bodies holy to the Lord. Here you are. You don't eat right. You are overweight. You are not in shape. You understand? You are unclean. You smell between your legs. You understand? You don't wash. You don't have a personal hygiene. That body is not being presented holy to the Lord. You're not presenting your body as a living sacrifice to the Most High. You understand? Go ahead.
Acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service.
Do you see that thing? So the only time when the Most High God will accept our body as a living sacrifice, guess what? It must be holy. We must. What are we sacrificing now? You get rid of the bad hygiene practices that you do. Because given tonight's topic, the fear of water. Our people, they fear water. They're afraid of water. You're afraid to go into the bath and wash your behind. Our people are afraid of the water. It's like there's sharks in there. There's crocodiles in there. You'll find a hippo in there. No. Go into the water and wash your behind. Read again. Verse 1.
Romans chapter 12, verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service.
He says it must be holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. That's what the Lord is saying right there. Now watch this. Now, I'm going to show you something, right? Because remember what the Most High God, he plagued the Egyptians with what? With lice, with flies. You understand? All of which represent uncleanness. Okay? But because now the Most High God says, don't follow after the customs of the Egyptians. We saw when we're in the wilderness, the Lord taught us how we must maintain personal hygiene. You understand? When Solomon built the temple, how we must maintain personal hygiene to wash ourselves and all that. Bathing is a law of God. But now, because as a nation we're in captivity, we're no longer keeping God's commandments. Here's what the Lord says he will do. Give me Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 real quick. Watch this.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15.
Come on.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Are all these curses, if you don't obey, here all these curses will come upon us and they will overtake us. So some of the curses that came upon us and overtake us. Watch this. Read verse 27. Wait. Yeah, that's what I want. Read verse 27. Come on.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 27.
Read.
The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt.
The Most High God says, I'm going to smite you with the botch of Egypt. Meaning the diseases and plagues of Egypt, they are going to come upon you if you break these laws. You understand? Uncleanness. Go ahead.
And with the emeralds.
With the emerald, these are hemorrhoids. You can have genital hemorrhoids or anal hemorrhoids where you've got inflammation on your bum or inflammation on your rod for both men and women. Go ahead.
And with the scab.
And with the scab, that goes into what? Head lice, okay, body lice, and pubic lice. Okay, that's the scab. Right?
And with the itch.
And with the itch, you're gonna itch because of head lice, body lice, and pubic lice. You're gonna be itching, scratching yourself all over the place. Go ahead.
Whereof thou canst not be healed.
Whereof thou canst not be healed. You see that part right there? This will affect both men and women. This is God's judgment right here upon the children of disobedience. Okay, now watch this. Give me watch this. Let me show you something, right? Let me share my screen, because we're gonna be dealing with this. We're gonna deal with head lice, body lice, and pubic lice. But the one I want to hone in on is the pubic one. Okay, because that's one of the big ones. Okay, that's one of the ones that are really affecting Israel. Okay, now we're gonna read this. We're gonna be dealing with head lice, body lice, and pubic lice. But you know, I'm gonna deal with the pubic lice. Okay, watch this. Hold on a second. Let's see. You know what? I think I'll start with this one. Let's just click that. Head lice. Okay, now read that. Healthline.com. Head lice infestation. Read that.
Reading from healthline.com. Head lice infestation.
Come on.
What are head lice? Head lice are small, wingless, blood-sucking insects.
You see what head lice are? Head lice are small, wingless, blood-sucking insects. This is a head lice right here. This is a head lice. It does not have wings. It says wingless, blood-sucking insect. Okay. Go ahead.
They live in the hair on your head and feed off the blood from your scalp.
You see that thing? It says they live in the hair on your head and feed off the blood from your scalp. This is God's judgment, by the way. Okay, come on.
A lice, a single adult, is about the size of a sesame seed.
You see, they are too small. A sesame seed is very small. That's the size of a head lice, right?
A nit, a louse egg, is about the size of a small flake of dandruff.
You see, you cannot even distinguish that. You cannot distinguish a head lice from dandruff. That's how small they are, and that's how similar they will look. Okay, read that.
What causes head lice? Head lice are contagious. You can become infected with head lice when the insects crawl onto your head. Ways you might get head lice include:
come on,
touching your head to the head of someone with head lice.
Someone that has head lice. If you touch your head, you've got head lice. You touch their head, guess what? They also gonna get head lice. That thing is demonic. Go ahead.
Sharing the personal items, for example, the comb, of someone with head lice.
Of someone with head lice. So you're sharing a comb with someone with head lice, you're gonna get head lice. Go ahead.
Using a fabric item after a person with head lice.
You see that thing, a fabric item, but the Most High God says you're gonna what? You also gonna get head lice. So it is contagious like that. Okay. So read on.
While transmission of lice via inanimate objects may be possible, it's been found to be highly unlikely.
Come on.
Some of these inanimate objects may include brushes, combs, berets, headbands, headphones, and hats.
Go ahead.
It may also be possible for lice to live for a time on upholstered furniture, bedding, towels, or clothing.
You see that? So head lice are everywhere. The Most High God says not necessarily everywhere, but somebody that has head lice, wherever they are, there's going to be head lice wherever they are. That's what the Lord is saying. You can confuse this for dandruff. You might find out, you might be surprised that you actually have head lice. That's the scab. The Lord will smite with the scab, the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. That's head lice right there. You understand? So the Most High God says, this stuff right here will affect both men and women. Okay? Give me that in Isaiah 3:16 real quick. You know what? Read Deuteronomy 28 verse 27 again. Because it will affect both men and women. Here in Deuteronomy 28 verse 27 is making reference to both men and women. Okay? Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 27.
Come on.
The Lord will smite thee with the borch of Egypt, and with the emeralds, and with the scab, and with the itch whereof thou canst not be healed.
So you're going to have scab and itch. So the scab goes into the headlights because it will affect your head as well, and your itch. It says, whereof thou cannot be healed. Give me Isaiah 3:16. Come on.
Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16.
Read.
Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet.
Read.
Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts.
You see that thing? So the Most High God is saying he's going to smite with the scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, meaning this our sisters. Our sisters, many of our sisters, as long as they are wearing pants and all, they've got headlights. Not only that, not only will they have lights in their head, the Most High God says, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. They are going to have pubic lights too. Not only will they stink, not only will they have their discharges and all that, not only they also will have pubic lights, where their coochie will be itching and all that. That hair on their coochie will be itching. That's what the Most High God says. And the Lord will discover their secret part with what? Pubic lights. This is heavy stuff right here. You understand? That's some heavy stuff. You don't want to keep God's commandments. You're still preaching like a robot. When you're supposed to submit, you're gonna have pubic lights. Okay? You brothers that get married to the sisters, you'll discover it on that day. That's a gift that just keeps on giving. Okay? Now, watch this. I'm coming back to this. I'm coming back here. I'm coming back here. Give me Deuteronomy 28, verse 22. Okay? Deuteronomy 28, read verse 22 for me.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 22.
Come on.
The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with a sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish.
So now this goes into what? The Most High God, he says, I'm going to consume you with diseases. He says consumption, fever, inflammation, extreme burning, that goes into itching as well. You understand? With the sword, and with blasting, that goes into itching, and with mildew, that's fungus, that's rottenness in your head, your body, and in between your legs. That's what the Lord says he will do. He says, they shall pursue thee until thou perish. Meaning many of our brothers and sisters, they're going to die with these diseases. Right? You understand? That's what the Most High God is saying. Give me that in Leviticus 18, verse 31. Leviticus 13, verse 31. Watch this.
Leviticus chapter 13, verse 31.
Come on.
And if the priest look on the plague of the skull,
the plague of the skull, the place of the skull that goes into your head. Okay, go ahead.
And behold, it be not in sight deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in it.
That there's no black hair in it. So that means there's white hair, but it's not deeper than the skin. Verse 30 says, if it be deeper than the skin, meaning by the roots. But this one right here is not by the roots. You understand? It's on the hair itself, that is not in skin deep. Go ahead. That means you've got what? You've got a plague on your hair. Read.
And that there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall shut up him that hath the plague of the skull 7 days.
Now you're going to be what? You're gonna be plagued. The priest will say, okay, for the next 7 days, you must be separate so you can be what? Lord's will, peradventure, you'll be healed. So that's why a lot of the time you see that Brothers and sisters, you've got your hair, you've got you think you've got the white hair, the gray hair you have, you think is wisdom. No, no, no. That can be a plague. Think about it. You might be sitting there thinking, yeah, no, that means wisdom. Verse 31 could be the cause of it. The Most High is smiting you with a scare. Because, I mean, imagine, you are a young man, you are 21, 22, you are 24 years old, you already have white hair. That's not wisdom. That's what we read in here. Read verse 31 again.
Leviticus chapter 13, verse 31.
Go ahead.
And if the priest look on the plague of the skull, and behold, it be not inside deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall shut up him that has the plague of the skull 7 days.
You see that thing? That's a plague. The Lord is plaguing you. That's what the Lord is saying right there. Read Leviticus 21, verse 20. Leviticus 21, read verse 20 now. Okay.
Leviticus chapter 21, verse 20.
Read.
Or crook-backed, or a dwarf, or that has a blemish in his eye, or be scurvy, or scabbed.
You see that thing? It says, or be scurvy, or scabbed. The scurvy goes into the itching. The itch that we read in Deuteronomy 28, or scab, that goes into the scab. Read.
Or has his stones broken.
Or has his stones broken. What is that going into? That goes into what? That pubic lice. Because now they are just eating the blood between your legs. That's what the Lord is saying right there. Okay, now watch this. Now let's go back. Okay, that's the headlines. Let's go back. I want to deal with the body one. The body lice. This goes into personal hygiene or personal uncleanness. Okay. Body lice infestation. That's the body lice right there. Okay. This one. You see, the body lice is the big one. It goes under your armpits and all of that. And if you overweight, it goes under your stomach and all that. The body lice, especially when you untofo, you're gonna have pubic lice too. Body lice, pubic lice, body lice and pubic lice. If you untofo, you're gonna have these two: body lice and pubic lice. Okay. Pitch Black Afro was not complimenting no men or no women. No sisters won't say untofo. That's against the laws of God. Understand that. Now read what you got. Body lice what?
Body lice infestation. Reading from headline.com.
Go ahead.
What is body lice infestation?
Read.
An infestation of body lice occurs when a certain type of lice invade the body and clothing.
It invades your body and your clothes. Okay, come on.
Lice are parasitic insects that feed on human blood and can infest the head, body, and pubic area.
So now it's affecting your body as well. So that means under your armpits and all that. Okay. If you've got men boobs, you're gonna find them there as well. Okay. Read that. Infestation.
Infestations are generally spread by close contact with other people and are typically found in areas of poor hygiene and crowding.
Read that again. Read that again. Okay, come on.
Infestations are generally spread by close contact with other people and are typically found in areas of poor hygiene and crowding.
It says their body lice is found in areas of poor hygiene and crowding. Body lice are found in areas of poor hygiene and crowding. You understand? So that's why, hence why we're going over this topic right now. Personal hygiene. Go ahead.
Other animals or pets, like dogs and cats, don't play a role in spreading human lice. Humans are the body lice only host, and lice will die within 5 to 7 days if they fall off a person.
If they fall off, if they don't fall off, they're gonna sit on you. You understand? Let's read that. What causes body lice infestation?
What causes body lice infestation? The body lice is larger than other types of lice. They lay their eggs and leave waste on skin and in clothing.
Yo, just by reading this, I mean, come on, my skin is even itchy. Could you could you read that thing again? Woo.
The body louse is larger than other types of lice. They lay their eggs and leave waste on skin and in clothing.
They poop on your skin. They poop on your body. That's why there's body odor. You've got body odor is because you are covered with the body lice poop. You are covered with body lice poop if you've got body odor. Body lice poop. Read that part again.
The body louse is larger than other types of lice. They lay their eggs and leave waste on skin and in clothing. Lice can crawl, but they can't fly, hop, or jump.
They crawl on your skin. That hence the itchiness. Read on.
Infestations occur worldwide and are spread via close person-to-person contact or through commonly shared bed linens, towels, and clothing.
Come on.
In general, infestations of body lice are limited to people who live in unhygienic or crowded living conditions and who don't have access to clean clothing.
Who don't have access to clean clothing. It says what? It says body lice are limited to people who live in unhygienic or crowded living conditions who don't have access to clean clothing. Now read that. Recognizing the signs of body lice infestation.
Recognizing the signs of body lice infestation. Common symptoms of a body lice infestation include the following: intense itching.
Pruritus. Intense
Pruritus.
Itch. That's the itch that we just read about. You understand? In the book of Leviticus. Come on.
Rash caused by an allergic reaction to body lice bites.
Because they bite, they poop, they feed on you. Red?
Red bumps on the skin.
Red bumps on the skin, come on.
Thickened or darkened skin.
The thickened and darkened skin is because what? It's because it's the thickness of the dirt, of the garbage on your skin, right?
Usually near the waist or groin.
You see that part right there? It is usually near the waist or groin. You understand? That's where your private areas are. Go ahead.
If the lice have been there for a long time.
If lice has been there for a long time, that means there's no regular bathing. There's no regular exercise, because exercises, you get to release toxins from your body and all that. Then you bath and all that. You know, so if you do it regularly, all this stuff is going to go away. That's why we want brothers to exercise, sisters to exercise, especially the sisters, because they are the ones that get up. When they get affected by this stuff, oh my God. Oh, just vomit here. Okay, now, let's go back. Let's deal with the one that I really want to deal with. This one right here. Read that. Pubic lice infestation. Remember, don't forget, the Most High God says, I'm going to plague you with this. I'm going to plague you with the plagues of Egypt. What you see right here, this is affecting us in the land of our captivity. Okay, come on, read that.
Pubic lice infestation.
Pubic lice infestation. Read that.
What are pubic lice? Pubic lice, also known as crabs.
Also known as crabs. It says pubic lice is also known as crabs. Let's see what a pubic lice look like. Let's go back. This right here is a pubic lice. This is a pubic. You see, it's small. Now, watch this. Let's go back. I'm going to share my screen real quick because I have a video that I want to share.
Pubic lice are a parasitic type of sexually transmitted infection.
So that's a 3D version of the pubic lice. You see what it looks like? It's sitting on between, this one sits between your balls. You understand? It sits on the coochie. This one.
ST. Pubic lice are a parasitic type of sexually transmitted infection, or STI. The parasite's scientific names are Pediculus pubis or Phtherus pubis. However, the insects are commonly referred to as crabs. The small six-legged lice are typically found in the genital area of humans within the pubic hairs. Some pubic lice will migrate to armpit hair and eyebrows, but this is not as common. The parasite starts as a nit, which is a small egg that is attached to a hair follicle. The nit will hatch out of the egg within 6 to 10 days as a nymph or immature louse. The nymph grows into an adult louse within 2 to 3 weeks. An adult louse can grow to be between 1.5 to 2 millimeters long and live for 3 to 4 weeks. The females will be slightly larger than the males.
You see, the female one is big. You see, the female one is obese, is humongous, on top for the female one. Look at it.
When laying eggs, she will lay an estimated 30 eggs within her lifespan. Pubic lice feed exclusively on human blood. Pubic lice are most commonly acquired during sexual activity.
You see that? It says the pubic lice are most commonly acquired during sexual intercourse. So that's why you brothers and sisters, before you can even think of getting a wife or a husband, make sure that you get your medical record, make sure that everything is good. You don't have none of these things, okay?
Increased risk factors of the parasite spreading to you are having sexual contact with an infected person, having multiple sexual partners, sharing a bed, bedding, towels, or clothes with an infected person. The parasites rarely spread through objects such as toilet seats because they require a warm human body to live, and their feet are not designed to walk across smooth surfaces. Common symptoms include itching in the genital area, skin irritation in the infected area, and sores or lesions due to bites and scratching. In some cases, people discover they have pubic lice on their own. A visual examination of a potentially infected area, preferably with a magnifying glass, may show small oval eggs attached to the hair, or you might see a louse. However, the lice and eggs are small and could be difficult to locate. If you think you might be infected, you should seek a proper diagnosis from a healthcare professional. Anyone that is diagnosed or infested with pubic lice should be tested for the presences of other sexually transmitted diseases, and notify any sex partner over the last month that they might have been exposed to an infestation.
Yes.
There are effective over-the-counter treatment remedies for pubic lice that can be found at your local pharmacy or drugstore.
Are you brothers seeing this?
Yes, sir.
This is crazy. This is crazy. You understand? You could be having these things just walking around.
You should follow the instructions provided by the product manufacturer. If the infestation is more severe, there are prescription options that you should discuss with your healthcare provider. Any treatment should be followed by utilizing a fine-tooth comb to remove any dead lice and eggs, and machine washing clothes and bedding in hot water. Avoid sexual contact while being treated for the parasites. To prevent being infected again, make sure you and your partner have successfully completed the treatment regimen and are no longer infected. Pubic lice do not transmit diseases. However, secondary bacterial infections may occur from scratching the skin.
So that means that they are not transmitted, but when you scratch, you can also cause a bacterial infection. You brothers are hearing this, you sisters as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sisters, are you hearing this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If you have any concerns about being exposed to pubic lice, seek the advice of a medical professional.
All praises to the Lord. All praises to the Most High. Now, watch this. Give me the book. Give me the book of 1 Samuel. Okay, give me 1 Samuel chapter 5 verse 8. 1 Samuel. We're gonna deal with the pubic lice now. 1 Samuel 5 verse 8. Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 5 verse 8.
1 Samuel chapter 5 verse 8.
Before you get me 1 Samuel, go back to Deuteronomy 28. I want to touch on something. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Okay. Read Deuteronomy chapter 28 and read verse 27 again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 27.
Read.
The Lord will smite thee with the border of Egypt, and with the emeralds,
and with the
scab.
Guess what? The emerald goes into what? The emerald goes into inflammation. Remember, the Lord says, read verse 22. I'm going to show you something. Deuteronomy 28, verse 22, then we're going to jump to verse 27 again. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 22.
Come on.
The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with a sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish.
Now, I want you to show something here. It says consumption and a fever, and with an inflammation. That goes into emeralds, which is hemorrhoids. You can have genital hemorrhoids, you can have anal hemorrhoids, okay? It says when it's extreme burning, that's the itchiness, because why? Because you've got pubic lice. And with the sword, that's death. And with blasting and with mildew, blasting goes into what? When you start to have blisters now. And with mildew, that's fungus. Bacterial infection, that's what he's talking about. It says, they shall pursue thee until thou perish. Jump down to verse 27.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 27.
Read.
The Lord will smite thee with the border of Egypt, and with the emeralds.
Yeah, then with the emerald. The emerald goes into inflammation and blasting and mildew. Read.
And with the scab.
And with the scab. That's what you saw there on the video. Because the scab goes into what? Pubic lice. So pubic lice will be causing what? The scab on your genital area. For both men and women. Come on.
And with the itch.
And when you itch, when you scratch, it's going to cause mildew, which is bacterial infection. Read.
Whereof thou canst not be healed.
Whereof thou cannot be healed. Now read verse 61. Read start verse 59. Deuteronomy 28, verse 59.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 59.
Come on.
Then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful.
He says, I'm gonna make your plagues wonderful. Meaning they're gonna itch, they're gonna itch, you're gonna scratch, you're gonna cause bacterial infection, it's gonna cause inflammation, redness, you're gonna increase the intensity of what? Of the itchiness and of the pestilence between your legs. Read.
And the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues.
Giving great plagues, read.
And of long continuance.
And of long continuance. That's why it says, which cannot be healed. Long continuance. There's no cure, you just getting treatment. Read.
And sore sicknesses and of long continuance.
Sore sicknesses and of long continuance. Mean it's going to be painful. Go ahead.
Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt. Stop
right there. He will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, all the plagues that the Lord used to plague the Egyptians. The Lord says, if you don't keep the commandments, worshiping other gods, this is what's going to happen. One of those gods that the children of Israel will be worshiping in the lands of their captivity is what? The god of uncleanness, Beelzebub, Lord of the flies. You understand? Flies and lice, uncleanness. The Most High God says, we will be worshiping that idol as a nation. That's what we're reading here. It says, because of that, I'm going to plague you with the diseases of Egypt. Come on.
Which thou wast afraid of. And they shall cleave unto thee.
And they shall cleave unto you. Because we were afraid. When we saw the Egyptians being plagued, that brought fear upon us. The Lord says, the same diseases that you are afraid of, that you saw upon your enemies, the Egyptians, I'm going to bring upon you. I'm going to bring upon you if you break these laws. Go ahead.
Also, every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law, then will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
It says, moreover, all the sicknesses that are outside of what I mentioned, I'm going to bring them upon you. You understand? Meaning the sicknesses that were not even in Egypt, the Lord says, I'm going to bring those diseases upon you until thou be destroyed if you don't repent. Give me that in 1 Samuel now, 5 verse 8. Okay? Because this pubic lice, okay, yes, it's going to affect the pubic area, your genital areas, your genitals for both men and women. Watch this. 1 Samuel chapter 5 verse 8.
1 Samuel chapter 5 verse 8.
Come on.
They sent therefore and gathered all the lords of the Philistines unto them and said, what shall we do with the ark of the God of Israel? And they answered, let the ark of the God of Israel be carried about unto Gath. And they carried the ark of the God of Israel about thither.
Because they taken the ark of the covenant, the Philistines. Go ahead.
And it was so that after they had carried it about, the hand of the Lord was against the city with a very great destruction.
Now, this is how the Lord is going to destroy them. Watch this. Go ahead.
And he smote the men of the city, both small and great, and they had emeralds in their secret parts.
What did they have?
And they had emeralds in their secret parts.
They had emeralds in their secret parts, meaning they had genital warts. They had genital hemorrhoids. They had inflammation on their balls. That's what the Lord did to them. You understand? That goes into what? Pubic lice, where you find yourself where you're just itching, you are in pain, because the problem that is causing the pain is that you scratch, it causes a bacterial infection, fungus, which eventually will cause what? Hemorrhoid in your secret parts. The Most High don't play. Okay? Genital warts. Give me that in Psalms 38, verse 5. Psalm chapter 38, verse 5. Because remember it says pubic lice is transmitted through what? Sexually, STI, sexually transmitted infections. Psalm chapter 38, verse 5. Read that.
Psalm chapter 38, verse 5.
Come on.
My wounds stink.
My wounds do what?
My wounds stink.
My wounds stink. These wounds, what is he talking about? Talk about his balls. His balls will smell it. Because the Most High God plagued him with a disease because he slept with another man's wife, Uriah's wife. The Lord is plaguing King David. He says, my wounds stink, okay, smelly balls. Go ahead.
And are corrupt because of my foolishness.
And are corrupt because of my foolishness. So brothers that are masturbating and all of that, that means you have smelly balls. It's not an if or maybe, it's a fact. You've got smelly balls. Oh, yes, yeah. Read it again. Verse 5.
Book of Psalms, chapter 38, verse 5.
Come on.
My wounds stink and are corrupt because of my foolishness.
And are corrupt because of my foolishness. Stinky balls. Jump down to verse 7.
Psalms chapter 38, verse 7. For my loins are filled with a loathsome disease.
You see that part right there? The loins is the wounds that stink because of what? A loathsome disease. STD. Pubic lice. Okay? Read on.
And there is no soundness in my flesh.
Because he was in pain. The Most High God plagued him with the disease of Egypt of a long continuance. Okay? So that's why both men and women, make sure this is going into the men now. You brothers, make sure that you go to the doctor, you get a medical report. You exercise, you eat healthy. You understand? Go to the doctor. Find out where you at. Find out what the doctor says. Find out if you've got genital lice, pubic lice. Investigate. Find these things out. That's part of your repentance. That's part of your journey of repentance. You understand? Head lice, body lice, and pubic lice. You've got pubic lice, there's a high chance you've got body one. You've got a lice in your head. Guess what? Go and investigate. Find out. Go to the doctor, go to the clinic. They will investigate and tell you what's going on. Because if you don't get rid of this thing now, that sin that you don't want to get rid of is going to shame you the day you get married. Because now imagine the sister, she's taking heed to this. Guess what? No, the sister will not end up with you unless if the sister is a simple. Because the sister will make sure that during the proving process, you bring your medical, she brings her medical. And then you can be able to, the two of you can show each other, okay, when you see us, you can say, listen, this is my medical report. She can also say, this is my medical report. And then you exchange, you say, okay, everything is all good and all that. Okay. But if you don't do that, the sister don't ask for one, or you sister, you as a sister, you've got one, the brother don't produce one. He says, no, but I know the scripture. Listen, shut the hell up. Let him produce the medical report. Okay? And vice versa. Understand that thing. Okay? Now, watch this. Let's read now. Let me share my screen so we can deal with this. Before I deal with the sisters, I'm going to deal with the men first. Yes. Pubic lice. Let me share my screen real quick. Okay, now I want you to read that. You see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, read that. Now this goes into pubic lice in terms of what? Affecting the men, the brothers. Read that.
Reading from healthline.com. What causes growing smells in people born with a penis?
With a penis. So you see this is like LGBT type of talk. He's trying to be politically correct, but we can see the writing. The writing is on the wall. Keep going.
People with penises are also vulnerable to infections and other conditions that may cause unusual and strong smelling odors.
The unusual and strong smelling odors, that's the smelly balls. You've got you've got smelly bolitos. That days are over. You must stop that. You must repent. Cannot be walking around with smelly bolitos. Read that thing again.
People with penises are also vulnerable to infections and other conditions that may cause unusual and strong smelling odors.
Read.
These include the following examples.
Come on.
Hyperhidrosis.
Okay, hyperhidrosis, that's one of the conditions that cause strong smelling odors. But we know what is causing all this. The Lord is the one that's doing all this. It's not hyperhidrosis. The Most High is doing it. Go ahead.
Hyperhidrosis is a condition that causes excessive sweating.
Excessive sweating. Read.
Men are especially vulnerable to this in the groin area due to testicles that can rub against their skin.
You see that thing? Hold on, whoa. It says men are especially vulnerable to this in the groin area due to testicles that can rub against their skin. Read on. Watch this.
Creating friction and increasing sweating.
Now, hold this. Let's go back to Leviticus 21. Let's see who's doing this. Leviticus 21 verse 20.
Leviticus chapter 21 verse 20. Or crook-backed, or a dwarf, or that has a blemish in his eye, or be scurvy, or scabbed, or has his stones broken.
Or has his stones broken. So these broken stones, that's smelly balls. Because they are what? They are not the way they're supposed to be in terms of diseases and smell, bacterial infection on your testicles. That's why it says what? It says, or have these stones broken. Okay. So the Most High God is the one that's doing this thing. Go ahead.
The extra sweat can attract fungus and bacteria, which leads to bad smells.
You see that thing? It says the extra sweat can attract fungus and bacteria, which leads to bad smell. It's not because of the sweat. Give me that in Psalm 38 again. It's not because of the sweat. You know, Esau likes to just use this dumb reasoning capacity. Esau has a very bad reasoning capacity. Okay, watch this. Psalm 38, read verse 5 again. It's not because of sweat. It's not because Negroes are going to use this and say, no, it's not because of an STD. It's not because I'm choking the chicken. No, it's just because, you know, me, I sweat a lot. The hell is this? Read that.
Psalms chapter 38, verse 5.
Read.
My wounds stink and are corrupt because of my foolishness.
No, because of sweat.
Because of my foolishness.
No, because of sweat.
Because of my foolishness.
Because of my foolishness. It says, my wounds stink and are corrupt because of my foolishness. Give me that in 1 Samuel 13, verse 13. Let's see what it means when it says, because of my foolishness. Read that. 1 Samuel 13, verse 13.
1 Samuel chapter 13, verse 13.
Read.
And Samuel said to Saul, thou hast done foolishly. Thou hast not kept the commandment of the Lord thy God, which he commanded thee, for now would the Lord have established thy kingdom upon Israel forever.
So now you see that thing, it says Saul has done foolishly because he did not keep the commandments of the Lord his God. That's the foolishness. So go back to Psalms 38 verse 5. Okay, come on.
The book of Psalms, chapter 38, verse 5. My wounds stink and are corrupt because of my foolishness.
Because of breaking God's law. It says, my wounds stink and are corrupt because of my foolishness. Not because of sweat. No, because of foolishness. Because of breaking God's commandments. Jump down to verse 7.
The book of Psalms, chapter 38, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
For my loins are filled with a lonesome disease,
Read.
and there is no soundness in my flesh.
You see that thing? So he's letting you know the wounds that stink is his loins, his balls are stinking because of what? Because of a loathsome disease, pubic lice, fungus, bacterial infection, not because of sweat. No. Because of what? Because of foolishness, breaking of God's laws, sexual intercourse, masturbation, and all that. Now, let's go back to the article now. Read that part again. When it says excessive buildup, where was we at? Yeah, the extra sweat. Read that.
The extra sweat can extract fungus and bacteria, which leads to bad smells.
It says the extra sweat can attract fungus and bacteria, which leads to bad smell, meaning smelly balls. Okay, go ahead.
This is treated with cornstarch to absorb excess sweat.
So no. So this not cornstarch. No. Keeping of God's laws. Wash your behind. Wash between your legs. Okay, that's what the Lord is saying. Not cornstarch. Washing yourself and eating health, exercising. Okay, let's read that part right there. Smegma.
Smegma can occur in uncircumcised males.
Stop right there. Smegma can occur in uncircumcised males. You brothers that are still wearing caps on your penis, you've got smegma. It's a white, thick, gooey stuff. You brothers that are not circumcised, you better go to the hospital and chop that thing off. Go ahead.
Causing dead skin cells, fluids,
Read.
and oils to build up.
You see that thing? And it is causing dead skin cells, fluids, and oils to build up. That means there's some nasty stuff that is coming out there. By the way, circumcision is a law. You men that are not circumcised, you better go to the hospital and chop that thing. Go to the hospital and chop the cap off, because guess what? That's how you make sure your penis is hygiene. No sister gonna be laying with you when you're still wearing a cap. Oh, hell no. Okay, come on.
As a result, smegma that is thick, whitish, and have...
Go ahead.
As a result, smegma that is thick, whitish, and has a strong odor can build up underneath the foreskin.
You see that thing? It will build up underneath the foreskin. So you brothers that are still walking around with those caps, it's time to repent. You need to go to the hospital and chop them stuff off. You must chop it off. Because guess what? You want to get rid of smegma, thick, whitish, that has a strong smelling odor underneath your foreskin. Go ahead.
Excess buildup can cause swelling, redness, and discomfort.
You see that thing? So you don't want that. Okay, come on.
If left untreated, smegma can lead to balanitis.
Balanitis.
Removing smegma involves pulling back the foreskin and cleaning gently with soap and warm water.
No. Just remove the foreskin. Okay, just remove the thing. Why are you struggling and all that? Brothers, listen. We understand that when you come into this truth, your faith is still weak. Okay, which is fine. Because our forefather Abraham, the Lord dealt with it because before he was circumcised. But our forefather Abraham, when he was told to do it, he did it. He circumcised his foreskin. So likewise, we must do the same. You understand? As part of your hygiene, you understand? Practices, good hygiene. Okay, read that. Balanitis. Balanitis. Okay.
Balanitis. Balanitis is a condition that usually affects uncircumcised men, causing an infection and irritation in the foreskin.
Go ahead.
Symptoms include unusual discharge.
Oh no, brothers, if you're still wearing that cap, please make sure that you see your nearest doctor and remove it. Okay, because you don't want this unusual discharge. Go ahead.
itching,
Mm.
pain,
You don't want that.
tight appearing foreskin,
Tight appearing foreskin. It's time to fix. See your nearest doctor. Go ahead.
Some people also have problems with painful urination.
You're gonna experience painful urination. The Most High God is the one that's doing it. It's not because of sweat. It's not because of excess sweat. Okay, come on.
Treatments for balanitis include topical creams to reduce inflammation and itching,
Mhm.
as well as oral antibiotics and antifungals to treat the infection.
Guess what? You listen, see the doctor, but most importantly, above all, you must change your diet, exercise, okay, and wash your behind. Okay. Now, okay, read that. Non-gonococcal urethritis. Read that.
Non-gonococcal urethritis.
Mm-hmm.
Non-gonococcal urethritis is an inflammation of the urethra,
Read.
tube where urine flows through before exiting the penis.
You see that thing? Now, you know, it's funny that, thinking about it. Now, that was a brother that, an older man, he's an old man. This one day we were just talking about stuff, and he said something. He said, you see, he says, this non-gonococcal urethritis is a non-gonococcal urethritis is an inflammation of the urethra, tube where urine flows through before exiting the penis. Here's the thing. He said something. He said, many brothers, our brothers in Israel, is that they've got gonorrhea and they don't even know that they do. And I said, explain, what do you mean by that? He said, if you want to know that you've got this thing, you've got gonorrhea, you've got this type of a thing where your urethra is affected, he said, when you go to the bathroom and you pee, you want to take a piss, it says before you take a piss and you can't, and in the only way for you before you can take a piss, you have to fart first. It says you've got gonorrhea. Anybody know what I'm talking? Anybody understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
It says, so before you can actually urinate, you have to fart first. And then the urine comes out nice. He says, you've got gonorrhea. So if you're experiencing that, see your nearest doctor. Or you must give leadership a call. We will prescribe some herbs for you. Okay? There's some herbs for these things. Read that thing again.
Non-gonococcal urethritis is
because I know Negroes will not give leadership a call because so you're gonna live with it or you're gonna go and appear in front of Esau who's gonna give you things that will mess you up. Okay, so contact your camp leader. Okay. Read that again. Breathe again.
Non-gonococcal urethritis is an inflammation of the urethra,
Go ahead.
tube where the urine flows through before exiting the penis.
Read on.
Common causes include chlamydia infections, as well as injuries of the urethra,
Come on.
such as from catheter trauma.
Read.
The extra presence of bacteria can cause an unpleasant smell.
You see what the Bible is, you see what Esau is saying? But the Lord is telling you, He's the one that will bring these diseases upon you because of what? Because of breaking God's, because of breaking His law. He said the extra presence of bacteria can cause an unpleasant smell. Okay? So, now, watch this. I'm going to switch gears now. I'm going to deal with the sisters. Okay? I'm going to deal with the sisters. Let's scroll up. Let's scroll up. I deal with the men. And I'm going to deal with the sisters now. Now, read that.
Is it normal to smell myself through my pants?
That's a heavy question. Read it again.
Is it normal to smell myself through my pants?
It's not normal. It's not normal to smell yourself through your pants. Okay? That means something going on down there. Okay? Read that.
Your body is full of weird and wonderful surprises.
Come on.
Some of them may be unfortunately smelly.
Not maybe. They are smelly. Okay? Read.
While a temporary bad smell right before its shower time is common, a smell so strong you can smell it through your pants could indicate other causes for concern.
Some serious causes for concern. Okay, come on.
Keep reading for some of the reasons why you may smell yourself through your pants and ways to treat the underlying condition.
Okay, read that. What causes growing? Read that.
What causes growing smells in people born with a vagina?
Now let's see what causes the smelly coochie. Let's see what Esau has to say. Watch this.
The vagina relies on a pH balance to maintain tissue health.
pH balance. Let's before we continue, let's go there. Okay, now read that.
Everything you need to know about maintaining your vaginal pH balance.
It says everything you need to know about maintaining your vaginal pH balance. Now read that. What is vaginal pH?
What is vaginal pH? pH is a measurement of how acidic or alkaline basic a substance is.
So pH is a measurement of how acidic or alkaline a substance is. Okay, come on.
The scale runs from 0 to 14. A pH of less than 7 is considered acidic.
Come on.
And a pH of more than 7 is basic.
A pH of more than 7 is alkaline or basic. Okay, now let's see. Read.
What does any of this have to do with your vagina?
Let's see. What does it have to do with your coochie? Go ahead.
The pH level of your vagina, whether it's acidic or basic, plays an important part in determining whether it's healthy.
Go ahead.
Keep reading to learn more about healthy pH levels, how to correct an imbalance, and how to maintain overall vaginal health.
Read.
What is a normal vaginal pH?
Come on.
A normal vaginal pH level is between 3.8 and 4.5,
So
which is moderately acidic.
It says a normal vaginal pH level is between 3.8 and 4.5, which is moderately acidic. This is less than 7, so that's moderately acidic. Between 3.8 and 4.5. That's what Esau says. Go ahead.
However, what constitutes a normal pH can vary slightly based on your stage of life.
Meaning your age. Let's see. Go ahead.
For example, during your reproductive years, ages 15 to 49, your vaginal
reproductive years don't start at age 15. They start at 20 and up, because that's the age of an adult according to the scripts. So Esau is talking garbage here. Read that again.
For example, during your reproductive years, ages 15 to 49, your vaginal pH should be below or equal to 4.5.
So if you are less than 49 years old, it says your pH, your vaginal pH should be equal or below 4.5. Okay, come on.
But before menstruation and after menopause, a healthy pH tends to be higher than 4.5.
Okay, come on. Read.
So why does vaginal pH matter? An acidic vaginal environment is protective. It creates a barrier that prevents unhealthy bacteria and yeast from multiplying too quickly and causing infection.
I want you to read that statement again. Read it again.
So why does vaginal pH matter? An acidic vaginal environment is protective. Creates a barrier that prevents unhealthy bacteria and yeast from multiplying too quickly and causing infection.
It says an acidic vaginal environment is protected. This acidic is talking about 3.8, between 3.8 and 4.5. It says that pH level is protected. Is that it creates a barrier that prevents unhealthy bacteria and yeast from multiplying too quickly and causing infection. But what maintains a 3.8 and a 4.5 pH level? Give me Deuteronomy 22 verse 5. What prevents it? What prevents this thing? What prevents it is knowing this law right here as a sister. Okay, watch this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 5.
Go ahead.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
Read.
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God.
So the Most High God is saying, a woman is not allowed to wear pants. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abomination unto the Lord their God. So women wearing pants, guess what? You're not going to have a normal acidic vaginal environment that will protect you from what? Unhealthy bacteria and yeast infection. The Most High God is a genius. So sisters that don't obey this law, if they don't want to obey it, guess what? They don't have a normal acidic vaginal environment that will protect them from catching unhealthy bacteria and yeast from happening on their coochie. That's what the Lord is saying. 1 Timothy 2 verse 9. Watch this.
First book of Timothy, chapter 2, verse 9.
Come on.
In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness
Come
and
on.
sobriety, not with broidered hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array.
I want to show you something heavy with this verse. It says, in like manner also, women adorn themselves in modest apparel. Modest apparel will make sure that you maintain a healthy pH vaginal level, right? It says with shamefacedness, because you're going to have what? You have shamefacedness. That means that, guess what? You will maintain your shamefacedness and your sobriety, your character and all that. Now, if you don't want to obey this law as a sister, you want to wear pants and all that, guess what? It means you have no shame and you don't have sobriety. That means you don't even care how you smell. You can smell your coochie through your panties and your what? And your leggings and your miniskirts and your bum shorts. You see that thing? So if you're wearing miniskirts and bum shorts and all of that, that means your bum also it smells. Some nasty stuff here. The Most High God is, if you dress like that, your coochie smells by default. That means your bum also smells by default because both of them are not clean. Both of them are unhygienic. You see that thing? This is what the Most High God is saying. That's why the Lord is saying, listen, change your dress code. Because when you're wearing pants, guess what? Your vaginal pH level will be higher than 4.5. Yeah. It will be higher than 4.5, which means you'll get unhealthy bacteria and you'll get yeast infection. And the unhealthy bacteria plus the yeast infection will cause discharges, which will cause smelly coochie. That's what the Most High God is giving us. What He's giving us is giving the sisters ways of being healthy. Isaiah 3:16. Let's go back there. Go back to Isaiah chapter 3 verse 16.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 16.
Come on.
Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes,
Sexual eyes.
Walking and mincing as they go, and making a tingling with their feet.
You know what's heavy about this verse? Is that the daughters of Zion are haughty, meaning they are proud. They walk with stretched forth legs, meaning you cannot tell them nothing. It says, and wanton eyes, meaning sexual eyes. seductive eyes. They seduce men. Not only that, they seduce men walking and mincing as they go. They like to shake their bums. That means they're shaking their smelly bums. Yeah. Their bums are smelly and their coochies are smelly, but they're shaking them anyway. Walking and mincing as they go and making a tinkling with their feet. That's what the Lord is saying. Go ahead. Verse 17. Come on.
Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts.
So the Most High God will give them a head lice, right? Not only that, but the Most High God will smite and discover their secret parts with pubic lice. You understand? Jump down to verse 14. Verse 24. Come on.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 24. And it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be stink.
Stop right there. Instead of a sweet smell on their secret parts, the Most High God says they are going to stink. Remember what we read for the men in Psalm 38 verse 7? It says, Psalm 38 verse 5, my wounds stink. Now it's talking to the women. It says what? Instead of them smelling sweet, it says they are going to stink on their coochie. Because guess what? They are wearing pants, they are haughty, they don't want to submit. They shake their smelly bums and coochie. The Most High God says, instead of them smelling sweet, He says, I'm gonna make your vagina to stink, your bum to stink. Go ahead.
And instead of a girdle, a rent.
You see that thing? They're gonna have big stomachs, right?
And instead of well set hair, baldness.
You see that thing? Baldness, head lice, alopecia. Go ahead.
And instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth.
The Most High God says He's gonna make them to be instead of a girdle, a rent, that they are going to be shapeless. Then instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, they're gonna have big stomachs. Go ahead.
And burning instead of beauty.
That's the itch. They're gonna itch down there. Instead of burning instead of beauty, they're gonna burn. Extreme burning on their coochie. They will scratch. It will cause bacterial infection. Not only that, it's gonna cause heat infection and all that. You understand? Genital warts. They're gonna have stuff like that. Pubic lice. Their coochie will smell. It doesn't matter how many times they can put their makeup on and all of that, creams on and whatnot. They can paint their face. Guess what? The Most High God said you're still gonna smell the coochie through the perfume. You're gonna smell the bum through the deodorant. Whatever perfume they use, guess what? Whatever lotion they use, they say this lotion has perfume in it. The Lord says, I'm gonna still make sure that your coochie smells through all of that. That's what the Most High God be saying. But the sisters do not listen. Give me that in Numbers 5:21. You know what? Before we get there, let's continue. Now, I want you to read that part again. Read that statement again. I like the next part, but read that first.
A high vaginal pH level, above 4.5, provides the perfect environment for unhealthy bacteria to grow. Having a high vaginal pH puts you at risk for these infections.
So the sisters that wear pants, the sisters that are haughty, you understand, wanton eyes and all that, guess what? They have a high vaginal pH, which puts them at risk for these infections. Now read that. Bacterial vaginosis. Read that.
Bacterial vaginosis, BV, is a bacterial overgrowth condition that causes a fishy odor.
Oh no. Read that thing again.
Bacterial vaginosis, BV, is a bacterial overgrowth condition that causes a fishy odor.
You see, bacterial vaginosis. Wearing pants causes bacterial vaginosis because women wearing pants, your pH, your vaginal pH level goes high. It goes higher than the normal pH level. You understand? That creates a protective environment for you. So all the sisters that wear pants, they all smell like tuna. It's a fact. Biblical. The Most High God is saying this thing. It says what? That means they've got bacterial vaginosis. Sisters that were paired. Keep going.
Along with an unusual gray, white, or yellow vaginal discharge.
Yuck. It says along with an unusual gray, white, or yellow vaginal discharge. Listen, all this that I don't care how much they can plait their hair. If you wear pants, you don't submit to what the Bible says as a sister. You're not feminine. You want to act like a man. You want to listen. The Most High God says this is what He will plague you with: bacterial vaginosis. You're gonna have a fishy smell, unusual gray, white, yellow vaginal discharge. That's some yucky stuff. Go ahead.
It can also result in vaginal itchiness and burning during urination.
You see, extreme burning, like we read in Deuteronomy 28. You understand? Deuteronomy 28, we read that thing. Now, keep going.
DV isn't necessarily harmful in itself, but women who have this condition are at increased risk for more serious infections, like human papillomavirus.
That's HPV. That's common in black women. Wait.
HPV. Herpes simplex virus.
Herpes,
and HIV.
Herpes is also common, and HIV. So the Most High God is telling you that women wearing pants, you understand, bum shorts, mini skirts, and all that. Guess what? They have they have bacterial vaginosis. That bacterial vaginosis, guess what? Again, they are having sex. They are having sex. They are not married and all that. They are having abortions and whatnot. It says, guess what? That means they have HPV. That means they've had herpes. That means many of them, they are HIV positive. But you're not going to know it. You see this thing? The Most High is a genius. The Most High is a genius. Okay? That's some heavy stuff. I want you to read this thing. Read that. We're going to read down. Watch this.
Trichomoniasis, TRIC, is a sexually transmitted disease, STD, caused by the parasite Trichomonas vaginalis.
Read on.
In the United States, it affects an estimated 3.7 million people.
And by the way, this is a first world country. What do you think is happening in the third world country where women are doing whatever the hell they want? Keep reading.
TRIC usually doesn't cause symptoms in the majority of those infected, but it can increase your risk for other, more serious STDs like HIV.
So that means that sisters, when you sisters go and do the medical checks, you must check for these things as well. You must check for HPV. You must check for herpes. You must check for HIV. You must also check for your pH if everything is all good. Just because your pH might be good, it doesn't mean you don't have these. You must check for them as well. So brothers, the medical record must come back with these diseases being meaning they must come negative. You must not come back positive. Now read that. An acidic vagina, read that.
An acidic vagina usually doesn't cause disease. But if the acidity rises too much, it might reduce your fertility. Sperm thrive in an alkaline environment. The optimal pH for them to swim is between 7.0 and 8.5.
That's alkaline, right? Read that.
During sex, the pH level inside the vagina temporarily rises, making the normal acidic environment more alkaline to protect the sperm so they can make their way to the egg.
This is heavy. You know why many of sisters cannot conceive is because of this right here. Many sisters cannot conceive is because under normal circumstances, your pH must be between 3.8 and 4.5. During sex, it rises temporarily to be what? Between 7.0 to 8.5 to protect the sperm so that the sperm can make their way to the egg. That's some heavy stuff. The Most High is a genius. This is not Esau's science. This is the Most High God's science. The Most High know what he's doing. And another thing also is that you disrespect your husband, you don't want to submit, the Most High God will just make sure that you are what? He locks your womb and you don't conceive. Heavy stuff. Now, watch this. Read that. Symptoms and signs and symptoms of an unbalanced vaginal pH.
Signs and symptoms of an unbalanced vaginal pH.
Come on.
A high pH level that leads to BV or other infection may cause symptoms like a foul or fishy smell.
A foul or fishy smell. Go ahead.
Unusual white, gray, or green discharge.
Even green. The other time they said what? Yellow, right? Red.
Vaginal itching. Burning when you urinate.
Burning when you urinate. Now watch this. Give me the book of Numbers 5 verse 21. Let's deal with the smelly coochies. Numbers 5 verse 21. Read what you got.
The book of Numbers chapter 5 verse 21.
Come on.
Then the priest shall charge the woman with an oath of cursing. And the priest shall say unto the woman, the Lord make thee a curse and an oath among thy people.
Come on.
When the Lord doth make thy thigh to rot, and thy belly to swell.
You see what the Lord will do? The Most High God, this is how he plays the black woman. Is that he's going to make your thigh to rot, which is your vagina, and your belly to swell. It's going to be as though you're pregnant. Read.
And this water that causes the curse shall go into thy bowels, to make thy belly to swell and thy thigh to rot. And the woman shall say, Amen, amen.
So now the Most High God is the one that says, I'm going to make your coochie to smell, because you don't want to humble down to what this Bible says. You don't want to dress like a woman. You don't want to act like a woman. You don't want to do womanly stuff. You're all up in a man's face. It says, guess what? All the things that is going to make you not be desirable as a woman, I'm going to put them on. You understand? That's what the Lord is saying right here. It's not just going to be the smelly vagina. Okay? Now watch this. Give me, let me see if I want to go there. Hold on a second. Let's go back. Because I had to deal with the pH. Okay. Now let me share my screen once again. We must go through this stuff. Okay. Now read it. What causes growing smells in people born with a vagina? Meaning women. Can't make this stuff up. Why can't they just say women? Now read it.
What causes growing smells in people born with a vagina? The vagina relies on a pH balance to maintain tissue health. If infections or other changes occur, the disrupted pH balance can lead to unusual odors. The following are some examples of these potential causes.
Go ahead. BV.
Bacterial vaginosis.
Read.
Bacterial vaginosis is a condition that commonly affects women of childbearing age and occurs due to an overgrowth of bacteria.
An overgrowth of bacteria. It says women of childbearing age. It's talk about young women of marriageable age. You understand? And occurs due to an overgrowth of bacteria because they wear pants, they act like men, they drink like men, they don't eat healthy, they don't exercise. You understand? Okay, they are manly women. Read.
Symptoms include unusual or excessive gray or white vaginal discharge.
That's why the Lord says, how he's going to make your vagina to rot. Read.
Strong odor that may be described as fishy.
Or foul smell. Read.
itching and burning sensations in the groin.
Oh, this one right here, when I read it, I was like, what the hell? Read that.
Trapped tampon.
Some sisters have tampon trapped in their vagina. It says a tampon may be trapped in your coochie. Go ahead.
Sometimes an inserted tampon may turn sideways, or the tampon string can move up into the vagina. As a result, you may forget about the tampon or have such difficulty removing it that it remains there for longer than intended.
Go ahead.
Symptoms of a stuck tampon include discolored, foul-smelling discharge, pain when urinating,
Come on.
fever, swelling in or around the vagina.
Give me Deuteronomy 28. Because you might think they say, no, Iso always likes to come up with these things. No, a stuck tampon. No. Get Deuteronomy 28. I'm going to show you it's not a stuck tampon. It's not because a tampon is stuck down, it's stuck up there. Deuteronomy 28, verse 22. Let's see if the Most High God is saying is because of a stuck tampon. Read it.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 22.
Come on.
The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption and with the fever.
Stop right there. With a what now?
With the consumption and with the fever.
That's the fever right there. Not because of a stuck tampon. The Lord is the one that will do it. With a fever, come on.
And with an inflammation.
With an inflammation is a discolored, foul-smelling discharge. You understand? Foul-smelling discharge. Swelling in or around the vagina. That's inflammation. Come on.
And with an extreme burning.
With an extreme burning. Pain when urinating. Go ahead.
And with the sword. And with blasting and with mildew.
Blasting and mildew goes into bacterial infection and fungus. Read.
And they shall pursue you, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish.
Until thou perish. You see that? It's not because of a stuck tampon. Israel always try to come up with this stuff. No, it is because a tampon is stuck in there. Because the sister will use that and say, no, it's not because I had sex. It's not because I went outside my marriage. No, it's because I have a stuck tampon in there. Do you brothers understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, because they might say, no, the reason why this is going on is because there's a stuck tampon. No, it's not because of a stuck tampon. Now, let's see how to get rid of this stuff. Let's see the solutions. Read that. What causes growing smells in all people, both men and women now? We come in full circle. Read that.
What causes growing smells in all people? Some underlying causes of growing smells affect both people with penises and people with vaginas.
You see, what the hell? Why isn't Israel just saying both men and women? This is crazy. You know why he's saying this? Because just because you have a penis doesn't mean you are a man. Just because you have a vagina doesn't mean you are a woman. You see how he's writing things now? Can you do you men and women, do you see this? You brothers and sisters?
Sir.
Some
Yes, sir.
underlying causes of growing smells affect both people with penises and people with vaginas. Why can't Esau just say male and female? Because they are telling you that, guess what? Just because you have a penis doesn't mean you are a man. Just because you have a vagina doesn't mean you are a female. That's what Esau is implying here. Esau is the devil. Man, this so-called white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. I'm telling you. That's what he's saying, right? Because I was like, what? Why is he writing stuff like this? Now, all praises to the Most High. I saw this thing. The hell is this? Read that thing again.
What causes growing smells in all people? Some underlying causes of growing smells affect both people with penises and people with vaginas. Examples of these include the following. Poor hygiene.
You see that? One of the main reasons why you've got what? You've got pubic lice. You understand? Hemorrhoids on your vagina, on your penis and all that. It is poor hygiene. Poor hygiene. Because the Most High God told us what we must do in order to wash our behind. Okay? Now read that. You know what? Give me 1 Peter 3 verse 21. 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 21. Watch this.
First book of Peter, chapter 3, verse 21.
Come on.
The like figure whereunto even baptism doth also now save us, not the putting away of the filth of the flesh.
Stop right there. So the water baptism, the Lord is saying it was what? Because what does water do? Water puts away the filth of the flesh. That's it. So poor hygiene, if you have poor hygiene, guess what? You're gonna experience pubic lice. For both men and women. That's why it says not putting away of the filth of the flesh, because that's what water does. To put away the filth of your flesh, meaning wash your behind. Read.
But the answer of a good conscience toward God by the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
You see that thing? Because your conscience will tell you, I must wash my behind. You see that thing? So poor hygiene is against God's commandments. Good hygiene is according to the laws of God. Now read that.
Poor hygiene, refraining from regular bathing can lead to dirt.
Stop right there. The fear of water can lead to death, filth of the flesh. Read.
Sweat and dead skin cell buildup that leads to strong smells through your clothes.
Oh, that's some heavy stuff right there. Keep going.
You can reduce these effects by showering regularly and washing with mild soap and warm water.
Guess what? This is written in the Bible. Because Israel didn't know how to do this. We taught him how to bath. So the Most High God taught us how to bath, to be clean. You understand? Give me Ephesians 5 verse 26.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 26.
Go ahead.
That he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water.
With the what?
With the washing of water.
With the washing of water. With the washing of water. The washing of water. You must wash yourself with water. The Most High God is telling us over and over, wash your behind. Okay? So poor hygiene will lead to what? Pubic lice, bacterial infection between your legs for both men and women. That's what the Lord is saying. Okay? So guess what? You must wash yourself. Let's deal with the men now. Give me the book of Exodus chapter 30 verse 17. Washing your behind, you men, brothers. Okay, Exodus 30, read verse 17.
The book of Exodus chapter 30 verse 17.
Come on.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Thou shalt also make a lever of brass, and his foot also of brass.
Come on.
And wash withal.
To wash with all. To wash with all. To wash with all. Okay, come on.
To wash withal. And thou shalt put it between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar. And thou shalt put water therein.
Thou shalt put water therein. The laver of brass. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. Let me share my screen so you can see what the scriptures is talking about. Read that verse again, verse 17, verse 18. That's the laver of brass right there.
The book of Exodus chapter 30 verse 18. Thou shalt also make a laver of brass, and his foot also of brass, to wash withal. And thou shalt put it between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar. And thou shalt put water therein.
Thou shalt put water therein. Come on.
For Aaron and his sons shall wash their hands and their feet thereat.
Come on.
When they go into the tabernacle of the congregation, they shall wash with water,
Read.
that they die not.
You see that thing? It says they shall wash with water that they die not before they go into the tabernacle of the congregation. You come to camp, you come among the brothers and sisters, make sure that your behind is washed. Read on.
Or when they come near to the altar to minister, to burn offering made by fire unto the Lord.
Come on.
So they shall wash their hands and their feet, that they die not.
Come on.
And it shall be a statute forever to them, even to him and to his seed throughout their generations.
So now this goes into the washing, meaning wash your behind. After you do that, watch what happens next. Read verse 22 now. We're going to read down. Come on.
Moreover, the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take thou also unto thee principal spices of pure myrrh, 500 shekels, and of sweet cinnamon, half so much, even 250 shekels, and of sweet calamus, 250 shekels.
So now the Lord is saying, listen, you're going to take these spices of pure myrrh, of sweet cinnamon, okay, sweet calamus, okay, read.
And of cassia, 500 shekels.
Read.
After the shekel of the sanctuary, and of oil, olive, and hin.
Read, come on.
And thou shalt make it an oil of holy ointment.
You see that thing? You shall make an oil of holy ointment. This oil right here, you are going to anoint yourself with it. So you bath, the Most High God says, okay, this is the lotion. And I'm going to give you the ingredients that you're going to use to make a lotion that will smell good. You see that thing? So Esau didn't come up with this stuff. Go ahead.
An ointment compound after the art of the apothecary.
Meaning what? It must also be like a perfume. Not only are you going to anoint yourself with the oil, with the mixture of these spices, guess what? You're also going to make a perfume over and above that. Read.
An ointment compound after the art of the apothecary. It shall be an holy anointing oil.
It shall be an holy anointing oil. Come on.
And thou shalt anoint the tabernacle of the congregation therewith, and the ark of the testimony.
Read.
And the table and all his vessels, and the candlestick and his vessels, and the altar of incense.
So this goes into your house, meaning your house must smell good. Read. Because this was for the temple. Now we are the temple. So that means your body, because remember, all of this that we're reading here is as the table, his vessels, the candlestick, his vessels, and the altar of incense. We no longer have the temple is no longer standing. Who's the temple? That's you now. We the temple. So all this oil must be, you must anoint yourself with it. Read.
And the altar of burnt offering with all the vessels and the laver and his foot.
Read.
And thou shalt sanctify them.
Thou shalt what?
And thou shalt sanctify them.
Remember, we the temple. The temple is no longer standing. Read.
That they may be most holy. Whatsoever toucheth them shall be holy.
Whatsoever touches them shall be holy. Go ahead.
And thou shalt anoint Aaron and his sons.
You see that thing? Thou shalt anoint Aaron and his sons. Meaning what? Brothers and sisters also coming, brothers coming into the congregation, they also must be anointed. Meaning you must be taught how to bath, how to anoint yourself with good smelling sweet savor, as it is written in the Bible. Go ahead.
And thou shalt anoint Aaron and his sons and consecrate them, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office.
You see that thing? That they may minister unto me in the priest's office. Read on. That's it on that. That's it on that. That's it on that. That goes into what? For the men. Let's deal with the sisters now. Give me Esther 2 verse 12. Esther chapter 2 verse 12. Watch this.
The book of Esther, chapter 2 verse 12.
Go ahead.
Now when every maid's turn was come to go in to King Ahasuerus. After that she had been 12 months to the manner of women. For so were the days of their purifications accomplished. To wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors.
Come on.
And with other things for the purifying of the woman.
So guess what? This is when the women were being purified so that one of them can be the king's, can be the what? Can be the wife of the king. But you see what they did? It says, guess what? It says 6 months. It says what? The days of purification to wait. 6 months with oil of myrrh. They bathe themselves with oils of myrrh for the first 6 months. The other 6 months, it says what? Sweet odors with other things for the purifying of the women. So they smell good. Give me Judith 10 verse 3. Judith chapter 10 verse 3.
The book of Judith chapter 10 verse 3.
Come on.
And pulled off the sackcloth which she had on, and put off the garments of a widowed, washed her body all over with water.
Stop right there. What did she do?
And washed her body all over with water.
And washed her body all over with water. Sisters, wash your behind. Wash your body all over with water. Don't wash like a cat. You understand? You washing like a chihuahua. What the hell is this? Read that thing again. The hell
book of
is this?
Judith chapter 10 verse 3. And pulled off the sackcloth which she had on, and put off the garments of a widowed.
Read.
And washed her body all over with water.
Stop right there. Don't be washing like a cat. Don't do a whole bath. That's what they call it, a whole bath. You know how hoes wash? These hoes, they stand in front of the mirror. They just put their leg on top of the sink, and they just take the bath lappy, wash, and then perfume. That's what they do. Sisters, don't take a whole bath, because we're gonna smell your coochie through the perfume. Read the thing again.
The book of Judith chapter 10 verse 3.
Go ahead.
And pulled off the sackcloth which she had on, and put off the garments of a widowed.
Read.
Washed her body all over with water.
And washed her body all over from head to toe with water. Okay? Not with saliva. Don't be doing, don't wash with saliva. Go ahead.
And anointed herself with precious ointment.
You see that thing? She's following the example of the man. You see what the Most High God says? The Most High God says, listen, wash yourself in Exodus 30 and anoint yourself with perfume and anointing oil that you smell good. Okay? So guess what? That's the same thing going on here. Wash your body all over with water and anointed yourself with precious ointment. Come on.
And braided the hair of her head.
It says, and hold on. She braided the hair of her head. She did not have headlights. She still had hair. She did not have alopecia, because she has and braided the hair of her head. That means she had hair for her to braid. Go ahead.
And put on a tire upon it.
She put on a headdress, red.
And put on her garments of gladness.
She dressed nice, red.
Wherewith she was clad during the life of Manasseh, her husband.
I want you to see something in the next verse. Keep going.
And she took sandals upon her feet.
She took sandals upon her feet. Remember, in verse 3, she washed her body all over with water. That's why some sisters cannot wear sandals, because their feet, they look like a chicken's feet. What the hell? Go ahead.
And put about her bracelets. And her chains.
Great.
And rings.
Come on.
And her earrings and all her ornaments. And decked herself bravely to allure the eyes of all men that should see her.
Now that's beautiful right there, because our foremother Judith had a plan. Give me Proverbs chapter 7 verse 16. Proverbs. Let's deal with the bed sheets. Let's deal with where the sisters must sleep. I'm going to show you something here. Okay. Watch this. Because we read this all the time. But, you know, the Most High opened the spirit, so there's other things I'm seeing here. Read that. Proverbs 7 verse 16.
The book of Proverbs chapter 7 verse 16.
Go ahead.
I've decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, carved works with fine linen of Egypt.
He says, I deck my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works and fine linen of Egypt. Bed sheets, read on, clean bed sheets, read.
I have perfumed my bed with myrrh.
I perfumed my bed with myrrh. Go ahead.
Aloes and cinnamon.
That means the bed will smell good. The room smelled good. Go ahead. Watch this.
Come, let us take our fill of love until the morning.
Come on.
Let us solace ourselves with love.
So now, once the bed is clean and the sheets are clean and all that, they smell good with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. It says, now it says, come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with love. This right here, you deal with your husband, you deal with your wife and all that, the bed must be smelling good. Now watch this. Give me Song of Solomon 4 verse 5. Song of Solomon chapter 4 verse 5. Don't forget what our foremother Judith was doing. She washed her body all over with water. She decked herself. She anointed herself, then decked herself and dressed. She looked bad to the bone. Okay. Now, here it says, let us solace ourselves with laughs. Watch this. Give me Wisdom of Solomon, Song of Solomon 4, 5. Watch this. Now, we're taking a step back after she washed her body all over with water and anointed herself with precious ointments and all that. Here's what happens next when they solace themselves with love. Go ahead.
Song of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 5.
Come on.
Thy two breasts are like two young roes that are twins, which feed among the lilies.
It says, thy two breasts are like the two young roes that are twins, which feed among the lilies. Listen, sisters. No man is going to be doing this to your breast and all that, because this is a love song. It also goes into the laws of God. But this also goes into men and women. It says, thy two breasts are like two young roes that are twins, which feed among the lilies. A man is not going to do this with you when you are wearing skipper man. What the hell is this? When your feet are smelly, that's not going to happen. Okay? If you did not wash your body all over with water. Keep going.
Until the day break.
Until the morning.
And the shadows flee away.
And the shadows flee away, meaning the sun is coming out. Read.
I will get me to the mountain of myrrh.
Stop right there. Hold on a second. I will do what now?
I will get me to the mountain of myrrh.
This mountain of myrrh is talking about your vagina. It says, I will get me to the mountain of myrrh. That means it must smell like myrrh. Remember what we read in Isaiah 3:16? No, 3:16, right? Or 17, it says, instead of a, no, 24, instead of a sweet smell, there shall be a stink. Guess what? The sweet smell is the myrrh. Read verse 6 again.
Song of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 6.
Read.
Until the day break. And the shadows flee away.
Come on.
I will get me to the mountain of myrrh.
I will get me to the mountain of myrrh. Here you are. You got a smelly coochie. You want the man to get to the mountain of myrrh. No, that's not the mountain of myrrh. That is not the mountain of, that's the mountain of tuna. The man is not going to go down there. Go ahead.
And to the hill of frankincense.
And to the hill of frankincense. Keep going.
Thou art all fair, my love. There is no spot in thee.
Thou art all fair, my love. There is no spot in thee. Jump down to the 10. Watch this. This is when you solace yourself with laughs. On clean bed sheets, you wash your body all over with water. You've anointed yourself with precious smelling ointments. Read.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 10. How fair is thy love, my sister, my spouse.
Go ahead. Come on.
How much better is thy love than wine.
Read.
And the smell of thine ointments than all spices.
It says, and the smell of thine ointment than all spices, because you wash your body all over with water and you anointed yourself. Now it says, your smell the smell of an ornament than all spices, meaning smells better than spices. Keep going.
Thy lips, O my spouse, drop as the honeycomb.
Hold on a second. It says, thy lips, O my spouse, drop as the honeycomb. Sisters, don't brush their teeth. They don't floss and none of that. Your lips are not going to smell like a honeycomb. Go ahead.
Honey and milk are under thy tongue.
Honey and milk is not going to be under your tongue. Go ahead.
And the smell of thy garments is like the smell of Lebanon.
This is some heavy stuff right here. Keep going. I'm not going to get into the details of this stuff. Keep going.
A garden enclosed is my sister, my spouse. A spring shut up, a fountain sealed.
Go ahead.
Thy plants are an orchard of pomegranates.
No, read that right. Read that right. The hell is this? Read that verse again, verse 13.
Song of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 13. Thy plants are an orchard of pomegranates.
Pomegranate. Go ahead.
With pleasant fruits. Campfire and spikenard.
With spikenard. Go ahead.
Spikenard with saffron.
These are all going into fruits, smelly, beautiful, smelly, wild fruits and all that. That smells good. Go ahead.
Calamus and cinnamon.
That goes into spices. Read.
With all trees of frankincense, myrrh and aloes. With all the chief spices.
Watch the next verse. Keep going.
A fountain of gardens. A well of living waters and streams of Lebanon.
Oh, praises to the Most High God. Oh, praise to the Lord. Oh, praise to the Lord for this thing right here. Listen, the Bible is a true book. The Bible is a true book. Okay? Now, let me see if I want to end it just right there. Let me not mess this up. Let me see. Hold on a second. Woo! That was beautiful. Oh, yes. Here's one. Here's one. I'm going to touch on this. I do want to touch on this thing right here. We also going over what causes growing smells in all people, both men and women. Let's deal with, not the sweating. The diet. Read that.
Diet. Eating some foods can temporarily affect the way your body smells.
Come on.
This includes the smell of your sweat or urine.
That means toxins in your body. Toxins. Okay? Read that thing again.
Diet. Eating some foods can temporarily affect the way your body smells. This includes the smell of your sweat or urine.
You see that thing? It says eating some foods can temporarily affect the way your body smells. This includes the smell of your sweat or urine. That means uric acid. Sweat, that means toxins in your system because you don't exercise. Okay, come on.
Foods that may cause strong body smells include asparagus, garlic, onion, chili, vinegar, marinated fish.
Stop right there. Whoa. Marinated what?
Marinated fish.
By the way, this is code way to mean the coochie down there. Yeah, because of the pants. Read that part again.
Marinated fish.
Marinated fish, go ahead.
And fermented milk products.
And fermented milk products. So guess what? Give me that in 2nd Ezra 9. Okay, 2nd Ezra 9, read verse 24.
Second book of Ezra, chapter 9, verse 24.
Come on.
But go into a field of flowers, where no house is builded, and eat only the flowers of the field. Taste no flesh, drink no wine, but eat flowers only.
But eat flowers only. So the Lord is telling Ezra, listen, don't fast, But I want you for 7 days to go into a field of flowers, a garden of flowers, where no house is built. Eat only the flowers of the field. Taste no flesh. Don't eat meat. Drink no wine. Don't drink alcohol. But eat flowers only for 7 days. Go ahead.
And pray unto the highest continually.
Mm-hmm.
Then will I come and talk with thee.
Read.
So I went my way into the field, which is called Ardeth,
Mm-hmm.
like as he commanded me, and there I sat among the flowers, and did eat of the herbs of the field, and the meat of the same satisfied.
So he ate the flowers of the field, the herbs of the field. It says, and the meat of the herbs satisfied him. You see this thing right here? So what's happening here, the Lord is telling Ezra, listen, I want you to detox. I want you to get rid of the toxins in your systems and all that. This is what it means to detox. While you're detoxing, pray to the highest, that the Lord will make sure that you get rid of those they get rid of the toxins in your system. You understand? So that also, not only that, but your urine to be clear, your urine to be clean. That's what the Most High God is giving us a way of what? Detoxing. This is detox of the Most High right here. Okay? So certain foods that we eat, they will either make us smell good or smell bad. Okay? Understand that thing. That's what the Lord is saying. Okay? That's medicine, by the way. Give me that in Sirach 38. That's medicine. That's medication. Okay? Sirach chapter 38, read verse 4.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38, verse 4.
Read.
The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and he that is wise will not abhor them.
He that is wise will not abhor them. The Lord created medicine out of the earth. He that is wise will not abhor them. That medication, that's the herbs of the spirit. Like Ezra was commanded to go in 2 Ezra 9, verse 26. Okay? Read that thing again.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38, verse 4.
Come on.
The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
He that is wise will not abhor them.
And if you are wise, you will not abhor them. That's what the Most High God is saying. So one of the best ways to get rid of the order between your legs, for both men and women, there's certain foods you must avoid. Okay? There's certain foods you must eat to make sure that you are what? There's toxins that are released from your body. You understand? You must exercise, diet, exercise, and good hygiene. Wash your behind. The Most High God has all the answers. We just need to apply ourselves so we can improve. And all of these things, they can be fixed. These are fixable stuff. These are fixable things. We can fix these things. Okay? We must apply this thing. Thus saith the Lord. So, brothers and sisters, I'm going to end the class right there. In the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Okay, let's break bread. I'm going to end the class right there.
For I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Jesus, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, Take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as ye drink it, in remembrance of me. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and the blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep.
In the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. Let's give the Most High hand for that.